Smith and Jamison back to return for Texas. Deshaun Jamison already with a kick return for a touchdown this year, but the return team really struggled in the loss against OU. And here we go. Jamison calls for the fair catch, and it's out of bounds. So an increase in the field position for Sam Ehlinger and the Texas offense. Ehlinger did not play well against Oklahoma and really has not played great in back-to-back games against West Virginia and OU. They were able to beat the Mountaineers, but against an upper echelon team, found out that maybe Sam does need to be Superman more often than not for Texas to win.
Well, just rely on it. And sometimes, you know, his brute brain power, which is a combination of his toughness and his tenacity and his ability to think, can get in the way. And we spoke to him yesterday as a crew, and Sam understands he's the face of this program and what he needs to do to win. Today will be another step forward in him proving that by overcoming some setbacks.
Keontae Ingram will start at running back. He's split, now in motion. The long ride, Ehlinger with the keep, and a good positive gain of about 6 on first down.
To me, that's an important start as we talk about the impact players on Texas side. Roschon Johnson has been the leader rusher the last 2 weeks. And then Devin Duvernay, we talked about him early, his success. And look out for Bryce Tornaden. He's a beast. And Kamara, their best NFL prospect.
And how about that? Ehlinger looking like Puka Williams, shaking off a would-be TFL for the first down.
I like that early on. You know, to me, that sets the tone. You were asking the question about how he responds, right? When you see your quarterback, who's maybe the toughest player on the football field, have 2 consecutive runs where he's powering through tacklers, that's a good sign.
This is a very good Kansas defensive line that gave the OU offensive line problems the last time out for the Jayhawks. First down, Ehlinger will throw, and looking for Colin Johnson. Bryce Tornaden with the stop.
Yeah, here's some keys that I have for this ball game. And I think if you are Kansas, you got to win on third down and in the red zone. And then if you're Texas, just rediscover your offensive rhythm. That means get the ball to your playmakers in space, and the playmakers have to make people miss.
Roschon Johnson checks in at running back. Ehlinger goes wide to the top of the screen. Direct snap to Johnson, and Roschon Johnson breaks off 2 tackles and is finally brought down by Azor Kamara.
I'll tell you what, I mean, what kind of options do you have with him in the Wildcat package if he can throw and do this? I mean, it's just power running. 1 tackle, 2 tackles, 3 tackles. I mean, he runs like a running back. It's still unbelievable to think that this kid has never played running back full time. Ehlinger
throwing on the run, hauled in by Brendan Eagles. And Brendan Eagles down into the red zone.
This offense is in sync right now, and this is what you like to see. I mean, look at Sam on the move. Those little eyes to move it off was move defenders, and then threw a dart in there for completion.
Texas increasing the pace offensively. To Roschon up the middle. Walking into the end zone, and Texas on the board first. A 14-yard touchdown for Roschon Johnson.
Yeah, I said it the first broadcast we did together here on LHN. I think this is his natural position. I mean, the burst, the speed, the understanding now, always with great ball security. Roschon Johnson has turned into a running back, and I know in the future he may be a quarterback, but with Sam Ehlinger here, I stay at that position, though, if I'm him.
Well, the way he's playing as of late, 100 yards against West Virginia, very nearly had that mark against Oklahoma, and a great start here. Tom Herman told us he will play at least as much as Keontae Ingram. I think it was his way of saying we will see Roschon Johnson even more, because at it, he deserves it.
He has earned that right, and I think it started with his unselfishness and his ability to go to the coach and say, hey, I want to help this team. When they had so many guys injured in that running back room, and to think now he's the most productive back. And for me, listen, I know that this staff believes in playing the best players. Right now, Roschon Johnson is Texas' best option at the running back position.
Hard to believe, started off as a quarterback and very well may end up there. the Under Armour High School All-American quarterback, enrolled at Texas in January, be a signal caller, then moved to running back a week before the season opener because of all the injuries that were mounting in the backfield. And after going for 100 yards for the first time in his career against West Virginia, was named the Big 12 Newcomer of the Week. Dicker kicks it away. And Kansas will start at the 25. Carter Stanley at quarterback. He's already beaten Texas once as a starter. Now with Brent Dearman calling the shots, what do you think it means for Stanley and how comfortable and dynamic he can be?
Well, the one thing that stands out to me when you watch him on film is his quick release. And the RPO game is built on the quick passing game. And for him to efficiently get the ball out of his hands, I think that's a tremendous asset to the Jayhawks. And the kid has been very accurate when he's throwing the football this year. He's playing his best ball.
First play to Puka, and Puka Williams takes a big shot as he picks up one on the initial carry.
Yeah, and he's the top guy. He is the impact player if you're Kansas. And then on the outside edges, they've got some wideouts that can win on one-on-one matchups. Parchment is the main guy, and Joseph Asai is turning into a man amongst boys defensively. And the senior, Brandon Jones, needs to be the leader today for this Texas defense to get right back on what they need to do to be able to win.
Those are the Ascension impact players. Stanley taking a shot, looking downfield, and flags come out as he was trying to hook up with Stephon Robinson. Anthony Cook was there in coverage, and maybe it was a little too much.
Got a little handsy, and that's the challenge they're going to have on the edges today. You know, this is not your same.
Interference, defense, number 4, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Anthony Cook there with the pass interference, and it's difficult, you know, because Robinson has a step on him. And he has to come back into the frame, and that's hard because you're trying to run through, but it was that early contact, that left hand right there, and that could have been the difference in whether he caught the ball or not. But, yeah, I would always say give up 15 before you give up a touchdown.
After the huddle to Puka Williams, slicing through the right side, and another flag on the play. Important to point out, the receivers for Kansas, it's not just Puka Williams in the backfield. This is a very good Big 12 receiving corps.
Yes.
Personal foul, hands to the face, defense, number 99, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So that goes against Keandre Colbert, the big plug in the middle of that Texas defensive line.
He's aggressive. I mean, the kid, for his size, moves very well. You see him there just get underneath the center's face, and that's, you can't do that. And he knows that. He's very well aware. Sometimes your hands slip up, but that's obvious, and the officials, when they see that, will call it.
Kansas lines up at the Texas 40. Williams in motion, and he gets the give to the outside, looking for the sideline, got it for the first down, and gets out in time.
After 7 seasons, numerous Emmys, and too many prison fights to count, Orange is the New Black has finally come.
Watch him in and out of his
But how are you going to
cuts,
fill that
but the
ship-shaped
ability
hole
to
in your heart after you've
accelerate
rewatched
in and
every
out of those
episode for
cuts
the
is what
third
makes him
time? You could always go to prison.
And then the breakaway
I don't
speed,
recommend that.
you have to
Seriously,
take a different angle
don't do
when
that.
trying to
Instead
tackle
of committing a crime, how about instead
Texas defense on its heels after a couple of costly penalties. Stanley will look to throw, trying to get Parchment on the comeback, and this is big because Andrew Parchment also comes up limping on the play and goes straight to the sidelines. Parchment, the top receiving threat for the Kansas Jayhawks, at 32 catches, 422 yards on the season.
It's not good for the Jayhawks there. As you get a second down here, the issue for Todd Orlando will be, when do you bring the pressure?
Torrey Loughlin, true freshman from Rockdale, Texas, checks in for the first time and is hit immediately. And that is Dele Adeoye with his step.
They said they were going to bring him in. He's a young guy that they believe at the next, when it's all said and done, is going to be a very special player. They've got a package for him, and they're showing it here in the first series of the ball game.
3rd and 9. Stanley back in at quarterback.
Watch Stephon Robinson in the slot.
Fumble. Puka Williams picks it up, trying to shake his way free, but will not get away from the Texas defense as Taquan Graham was there with the stop.
Mishandling of the football there from Carter Stanley.
And that will bring out the kicking unit. Would be a 46-yarder as Liam Jones lines up 4 for 6 on the year. His long is 36. It's up and wide left. A couple of penalties. Kansas moves the ball into Texas territory with a missed field goal. Keeps it 7-0. Texas up top. Well, injury plagued all season long, and it's getting worse. Chris Brown out for the foreseeable future. Fractured forearm, had surgery to correct that issue. Jalen Green was the top corner at the time. He's out with a shoulder issue. And Jordan Whittington still out with that sports hernia. He went up to Philadelphia this week on Wednesday, got a shot to help with inflammation, had an MRI that came back negative. Ingram back at tailback with Ellinger. Ellinger to throw. He's got Cade Brewer. And a good gain on first down. Let's check in with Chris Button.
Lull on the injuries. We tried making a list for the game day show earlier today of just the amount of injuries since the beginning of the season, and they are like a laundry list, like a movie credit when you try and put them together. But get this, of all the injuries this season, 16 players have had at least one career start for Texas.
Great point. Not just complimentary players, these are the dudes, especially of the defense, as Ingram picks up the first down.
I think of all that list, the secondary is taking the biggest hit. There's a playmaker, Caden Stearns, going down. And, your starting corner in Jalen Green and a contributor in Josh Thompson.
Ellinger rolling the pocket to Brewer. And Brewer, another first down grab as Gavin Potter brings him down. Texas breaks the 50.
I like the play calls right now. They're mixing it up. Tom Herman is doing a good job of keeping this defense on their heels by making them guess what's coming next.
Ellinger keeps. And just shy of the 40-yard line, Jeremiah McCullough brings him down. This is big. Early in downs, positive yardage. We talked to Tim Beck about this. The importance of avoiding negative plays. 29 of their 74 snaps against Oklahoma, no yards or a loss. Just can't establish a rhythm, in his words. Second and 4. Texas scored on its opening possession with a Roschon Johnson touchdown run. Looking right side, Colin Johnson wide open. Trying to rope it up and hop over Corian Harris. Can't break free, but enough for a nice gain and a first down.
Here's where the mental capacity of Sam Ellinger really is out front. He checked that play off. It was something that he liked in the defense, and he made the right side run those particular routes, and then he went straight to the money with Colin Johnson.
Ellinger, a 5-for-5 start. Plenty of time. Dumps it to Ingram. Trying to make a man miss, cannot, as that's a good open field tackle by Kyron Johnson.
Kyron he's the catalyst for this defense in the middle of the field, and he's the guy that if they had somebody that's going to spy on Sam Ellinger, it'd be him. And this Jayhawks defense does a fine job of tackling in space. They don't miss many.
Quick pass to Johnson. And Johnson picks up first down yardage. Colin Johnson, 3 catches now. And we've got a man down. Bryce Tornado, one of the Kansas leaders.
Oh, he is. Defensively, by far their best playmaker on that side of the ball.
See number 1 in the white.
Oh, that's a little friendly fire there.
And he's getting his right knee checked out. Bryce Tornado remains down here in Austin. And this is a great sign as Bryce Tornadin gets up, walks off under his own power. He's going to obviously get checked out, but we asked Les Miles, who would be the Jacob Hester type on your team? The ultimate tough guy. Tornadin was the first guy he mentioned.
I love the way he plays. You know, he's like a human cannonball. He's just reckless. He's ruthless on that side of the ball. And you could tell that the team responds to his energy. When he's playing well and he's moving with the right momentum, this entire defense does.
This typically is where Kansas bows up in the red zone. First and 10 at the 15 for the Longhorns offense, churning at 9 yards per play. Ellinger again, a clean pocket over the middle. Colin Johnson was looking for a flag, will not get it. And it's excellent defense by Kyle Mayberry.
This is pass interference, and you'll see the pull here. Sometimes the officials just don't see it, but there is contact. He pulls them certainly before the ball gets there, that right hand on the backside, and that's why Colin was asking for the call.
First incompletion, Jake Smith, screen pass, and good for about 6. Hassan defense forces him out. I mean, if you're going to be a defensive football player, you may as well have the last name.
Yeah, that might be one of the sweetest names in college football.
So 3rd and 5. Kansas looking for a red zone stop.
I think this is where you hand the ball to Sam and you put him in some type of RPO package and allow him to get his team into the best play. You see him there navigating and orchestrating the offense.
Ellinger rolling. He's got Smith. Smith cuts back in, finds the end zone, but there is a flag in the end zone.
And this appears to be pass interference on Kansas. And what a move from Jake Smith there right at the goal line.
He's got the quick twitch.
Holding defense.
So Texas will decline that.
Holding defense. That penalty's declined. Result of the play, touchdown.
And Jake Smith now takes the team lead with his 5th receiving touchdown of the year.
He reminds me so much of the Shipleys. His ability to run routes, and you know, when you knew that this kid was a Gatorade National Player of the Year, 2 things stood out. He could make people miss, and he was an excellent returner. And when you see him make plays like that, to me, that is a good positive sign for Texas. And the coaching staff, they've had to answer the question, Lowell, why can't he play more? Well, he's backing up Devin Duvernay.
Yeah.
But I still think there are ways to get him in the game because he's earned that right. And as you said, at this point, he's leading his team in touchdowns. The young freshman has really put on a show early on in his first year at Texas.
Don't really miss a beat when Devin Duvernay needs to go to the sideline.
Yeah,
and get
that's saying something.
But Texas offensively, through 2 offensive drives, has been as crisp as you could possibly imagine them to be.
100%, and I think it starts with Sam Ellinger. He was able to, those 2 early runs were, you know, the first one he gets enough yardage to keep him on track, and then he comes back the second one, he gets the first down, and he was just bulldozing defenders. That's Sam Ellinger, and that's this offense. For him to soften everybody else up, and then that allows Roschon Johnson and these skilled players, Colin Johnson and Dev, and, of course, Jake Smith to get going, and that's exactly what happened.
So he's been really good in the first half.
I'd say.
12 touchdowns. He's clean with no interceptions. So far, 9 of 10, 95 yards. He's engineered 2 touchdown drives, and it's a 14-0 lead for Texas over Kansas. Dicker kicks it away. Robinson will take it out from 3 yards deep. And is brought down by Byron Vaughns, who has been a special teams phenom recently. Let's check in with Chris.
Well, Andrew Parchman, who went to the sidelines with an injury, the wide receiver for Kansas, does look okay. He had to go to the medical tent, had trouble putting some pressure on that right leg, but has been running sprints and jumping up and down, and looks like he's ready to go.
I'll jump it down at the opportunity to play in this offense. He was one of the most vocal advocates for Kansas going faster offensively, so really like the change with Brent Dearman taking over as the OC. Tapuka Williams, Brandon Jones, there's a missed tackle, but Adeoye is there. That's something Todd Orlando pointed out with Puka specifically. Go hard, give him your best shot, and have faith that your defensive teammates can track him down.
Listen, he's going to make people miss, so you've got to play team defense, and pursuit is an amazing part, and probably the key part to stopping a guy like Puka. And I didn't see that effort when I watched film last week. There were a lot of times where guys would make a miss, and then they had space to run. That time there, ton of orange jerseys around him.
Williams again, back-to-back carries. He's got a seam. Williams, it's a foot race to the 40. Cook will try to bring him down, and Cook does, coming from the backside, but not before Puka Williams rumbles off his longest run of the season. 66 yards for Puka.
Well, Texas fans, don't feel bad. He was doing this same thing to Oklahoma. Great, he picks up a great block there on the outside edge, but his top-end speed, his ability to accelerate like a race car is next level. He is a former track star, and this kid could probably run track. You know what I mean? He could be a world-class sprinter, and when he's in pads, he utilized that speed to beat defenders.
Velton Gardner now at running back. Stanley with the carry. Popped, but he may have won that one with DeMarvion Overshown.
Might have. He ran through him. There's no hands, ifs, buts about it. You know, and if you're a young guy, you're not expecting the quarterback to lower his head. And now, listen, here's where I have an issue with all the targeting people out there that like to support that. That's helmet-to-helmet contact. Now, it's not going to get called on offense. And I'm not making any excuses for the guy getting trucked, but I'm just saying that was clearly him taking a shot to the head. And you got to give Carter Stanley credit. That was a physical run.
Williams checks back in. The carry to Robinson. And struggles to get to the 5. It will set up a 3rd and manageable inside the red zone for Kansas.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. I go around all over the country and I talk about this, and I've never understood why an offensive player can do this and why the stiff arm is still in the game. You know, if you're trying to protect every player, those two things need to be removed.
Stanley, quick toss, was looking for Kwame Lassiter to the 2nd. Off the mark, so it sets out a 4th down decision. Les Miles, also known as the Riverboat Gambler. They already missed one field goal, but the field goal unit will come back out.
DeMarvion Overshown, who got trucked by Carter Stanley, came back in excellent coverage. And he's going to continue to get better. These were young guys back in the secondary, only a sophomore from Arp, Texas, as Liam Jones is coming on to try to punch one through.
Missed from 46 yards out on the opening drive for Kansas. It's for 23. And good, the Jayhawks on the board. Puka Williams with the electric run. 65 yards to set up 3 points for the Jayhawks.
Texas football on Longhorn Network is brought to you by Coors Light, official sponsor of the Texas Longhorns.
Celebrating that classic 1969 national championship team. A lot of the members of that squad on hand this week. They'll be honored at halftime. Texas wearing the throwback uniforms, complete with the orange and white socks, the 150 instead of the 100 above the Longhorn logo, as they are making that group proud here with a 14-3 lead. Jamison will take it out, and he's hit immediately at the 10-yard line. 1969, James Street leading Texas to the national championship. That picture is iconic on the right side. President Nixon handing over the plaque to Darrell Royal, Ted Coy in the background. Now that plaque has essentially disappeared. No one knows where it is. So longtime Texas Sports Information Director Bill Little had a replica of that made. The team was able to see it this week, and that will have a new home in the Texas Athletics Hall of Fame. Roschon, a few yards on 1st down.
Appeared to roll up maybe on Sam Cosme's leg there. I mean,
Cosme will stay in.
Watch how physical this guy runs. I mean, he just runs with determination. I mean, he's a tough kid, and, and you don't realize how big he is, but he's a big boy.
Duvernay over the middle. Sure-handed. A nice cut. Oh, a huge hit on the sideline as Mike Lee lays him out. And a flag on the play. Wow, that was close. Duvernay was right on the sideline when Lee made the hit.
And these safeties are active, and they will get after you. They will hit you.
Duvernay is up. He is ready to go for the next snap.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 13. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run. Automatic first down.
So it appears the hit is okay, but the face mask from defense. Ooh. What do you think about this? Duvernay also has his hands on the face mask of defense.
I just said they have not taken out the stiff arm. That is legal. You can actually do that, which is crazy.
So the hit legal by Lee. It was a face mask from defense. Ellinger flushed, trying to escape. He will not, and that is the first sack by the Kansas defense. Gavin Parter, Azur Kamara there.
And I know for this Texas staff, this was really frustrating last week. Here they have max protect. You've got your back end, and two guys come unfree. You have favorable numbers in your pass protection, and you're letting guys through. You've got to protect the prize, and that prize is number 11, Sam Ellinger.
20 sacks now allowed by the Horns. 9 of those coming last week against Oklahoma. 2nd and 18. Looking for Malcolm Epps, and it's in and out of the hands. Kyle Mayberry was there to put some pressure on the huge target.
And you said it. These are balls, in my opinion, he has to win with his length. This ball is put right on the money. I mean, just out of the reach of the linebacker. You can't ask for a better ball. And if you're Epps, he's at some point in his career, he has to be that guy that can use that frame, utilize that length, and put defensive backs in a bad position and complete that play.
3rd and 18. We'll see what Kansas comes up with defensively. Twist inside, looking for Eagles. Eagles nearly picks up the first down.
I'd go for this. I'd keep my offense on the field. I'd put it in Sam's hands. This 3rd and short is where he dominates as they're getting back up on the ball to go for this 4th down.
Absolutely no hesitation from Tom Herman.
It's another good ball from Sam, right on the money to Epps across the middle of the field. And Epps is their big play guy. When you just start to look at their plays of 25 yards or 20 yards or more, he's got 28% of those.
Bringing Eagles with the catch.
Yes, thank you.
4th and 2. Johnson, the running back. Jake Smith, direct snap, nowhere to go. Smith fighting for extra yards. He will be short. Kansas with the stop. And 4th down has really plagued Texas offensively this season. They were so good last season at 80%, second best in the nation. Under 43% this season. This guy had that same magic.
This guy has way more football knowledge than I do. But I didn't like that play call. I mean, I've just got to be honest with you. In a 4th down situation, when you've got Sam Ellinger, you've got Roshan Johnson, you've got Dev Duvernay, you've got other players that can make this play right here. I think it puts a lot of pressure on the freshman. And the offensive line there did not win their matchups. And that's something that Texas has to clean up.
Quick pitch to Puka Williams. He picks up 4 on 1st down.
Now, great field position for the Jayhawks. Now you can get rolling, and if I'm Kansas, I take a shot here. Anytime you have a sudden change or an opportunity like this, you take a shot. You've already got them on their heels, and I would expect to see one at some point in this drive.
The one shot led to a pass interference. So a success there. 2nd and 6. Gardner, the running back, gets the rock, trying to cut it back. He will be stopped right at the line of scrimmage. B.J. Foster and Devondre Sweat with the stop. So Texas trying to turn it around with a quick 3 and out.
And from looking at this offense, not a lot has changed thus far. However, you know there's some wrinkles that Kansas still has out on the table as Texas appears to be bringing the blitz.
Here it comes. Robinson on the left side, and that's good for the first down. 7 yards, move the sticks.
Yeah, Robinson can play. He had one of his best games versus Oklahoma 2 weeks ago. And just here, just a speed cut. And he just wins that matchup against Brandon Jones. And that's a hard play to make because there's an injured Jayhawk down on the field.
And that's Parchment again. We saw him leave very early in this game, came back, and Andrew Parchment, top target for the Jayhawks, is down again. But back to these receivers. When you got Parchment, Robinson, Charlotte, you got three guys that can get the job done.
Legit.
14-3, Texas leads. First down for Carter Stanley and Kansas. Have something cooking here after the failed fourth down attempt near midfield by the Texas offense. Puka Williams back in. Stanley pulls it, rifles it over the middle behind Robinson, and it's incomplete.
He had to throw that ball rather quickly. The pressure was closing in. Big boy in the middle. I mean, Coburn's all in his face, and then this is a ball you got to catch. And if it hits your hands and you're a wide receiver and you're as reliable as Robinson is, that's a play that you've got to make.
Coburn getting a little antsy there. Now Stanley is streaky. He'll make some legit throws and then just miss some. Looking right side, Lassiter. And B.J. Foster is there quickly. Texas rallying to the football as Brandon Jones also gets in a shot.
Yeah, this is where I think this guy may have a chance at the next level. That's a hard throw to make from one hash to get it out to the flat on the opposite side, and the Texas defensive staff commented on that. They said the scariest part is that this kid can throw the football and he can throw it to any level of the football field in any space.
Big third down coming up after we change sides. At the end of one, it's Texas 14, Kansas 3. Les Miles looking for some KU magic here in Austin. Beautiful scene here in Austin, Texas. October football does not feel that way. Still feels like August here. But you feel the pressure. Big time Big 12 ramifications starting to mount. A huge third down coming up here for the Texas defense as the Kansas Jayhawks have driven it inside the 35 after Texas went for it on fourth down near midfield.
Their own schedule. This is third and medium, and prior to this, they had third and 9, third and 9, third and 6, and didn't convert. They converted their last one with an out route to the slot.
They give it to Puka. No, Stanley will keep it. He's got room and has the first down, and a big play with the wheels by Carter Stanley.
Now, I can understand why the defense didn't go for this play when you have a guy like Puka Williams, but this is what he does. Even when he doesn't get the football, it allows for Carter Stanley to have an open edge. Great job of working the mesh point from Carter Stanley and then coming out. This is where I believe Dearman has made the biggest difference this week in giving him the confidence to run the football.
They said the quarterback run has to at least be a threat, and Stanley providing. This is the guy that's carried the offense, Puka Williams. And he gets it a step away from the 10-yard line. Williams 5 away from 100 yards in the first half.
He's legit. Yeah, and he's a smaller back in terms of his weight, but he just carries it well. And you gotta really bring your big boy pads when you come to try to tackle Puka Williams.
Parchment is back in the game, number 4 on the bottom of the screen. Stanley will try to get the corner. He's got it tiptoeing, but forced out of bounds in a big play by B.J. Foster, but not after Stanley does it with the legs again.
So much of the offense when it comes to RPOs is the mesh point. He did a nice job of pulling the ball out, but what about the awareness from Puka to block? And Carter Stanley on this drive showing that he can utilize his feet, and if you're the defensive players for Texas and you're those D-end and those edge players, those players right on the end and those D-gaps, you've got to sit tight and hold, which then now opens up more space for Puka Williams. I'd expect to see Puka get some touches down here, interior run. They're going to attack Texas defense right up the middle.
The fullback, 29, Ben Miles, the son of the head coach, Les Miles. Everybody on the left side moving. Now it's a finger-pointing game.
False start. Offense, number 61. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
And that's big for Kansas.
Well, and down here you expect to see just power run, and these guys are trying to get a jump start on it. But keep in mind, Texas is the 9th worst team when it comes to penalties in the Big 12. They give up a lot of this yardage. So if you're Kansas, don't give them the yardage back. At some point, Texas, on the trend they are, will give it to you. Now back in the shotgun, RPO.
Puka up the middle, keeps his feet, and he's in. Puka Williams. An exclamation to the drive for Kansas that started with a roll of the dice by the Texas offense. But there is a flag that has come in late.
He took a shot at the end of that play.
Kansas is trotting their extra point unit on the field.
Yeah, I think this was post touchdown.
Puka Williams is special.
See how slippery he is through that first and second level? I
mean, took contact. Wow. Was able to stay up.
He's a good ball player.
And it is silent inside Darrell K. Royal Texas Memorial Stadium right now. A 14-0 lead for the Longhorns.
A 14-minute meeting, too, for the officials here trying to set this straight.
The result of the play is a touchdown. During the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 25. That 15-yard penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
B.J. Foster has had a rough 2-week run.
Yeah, you know, and this is a kid that has had some bright spots here at Texas, but last week was definitely one of his lowlights in terms of tackling. And these type of aggressive penalties after it's gone, they hurt your team. No place for them. But give credit to Kansas on that drive. They really took it to Texas, was able to convert on some key third downs, and now find themselves in a ball game.
Les Miles told us when he rolled into Austin, he started getting that feeling. He was back in Big 12 country with a group of guys, in his words, that were ready to fight like hell. Puka Williams to the end zone, and it's a 4-point game here in Austin. Not gonna lie, I got goosebumps here. Him, Smalls, and Squints from the Sandlot in town.
That's a classic movie.
Squints had kissed a woman. He had kissed her long and
one
good.
Of my faves for sure.
I mean, it's one of the greatest movies of all time. That trio is in town for a screening of Sandlot
What was
tomorrow.
the name of the dog?
The dog was the Beast.
Oh my goodness.
The Beast.
I have nightmares about that dog.
It was a nice dog. Did you not stay for the end of the movie? Forever. Oh boy. Back to football here. Kansas with a short touchdown drive, and they go for a little squibber. And the heads-up play there. And that is Jared Wiley taking the knee. Puka Williams, though, getting KU in the end zone.
Well, this kid is an elusive finisher. Now, this play is designed to go inside. You'll see it go to your left, but I want you to watch the backside linebacker, number 40, Odeaway, as we run it here. And as we run the play here. So what you're going to see is you're going to your left. Odeaway does a nice job of scraping off the backside, but it was Puka's ability to gather those feet and give them a very small frame to tackle. This kid is already fast. He's explosive, but it's the creativity, in my opinion, that really separates him from other backs in this conference. He's the real deal, and he could start for any team in the country with his athleticism and his ability to finish.
Is that a missed tackle by Odeaway?
Yes, it is a missed tackle, but you're trying to tackle a guy that is like trying to catch a feather in the wind.
So what is the response by Texas? Ingram, a good hold to the left side to the 30, tripped up. But a good gain on first down, 16 yards before Mike Lee brings him down.
You'd really like to see Keontae Ingram get going. It's got to be tough for him as a competitor to see the success that Roschon Johnson is having and him still struggle to get it going.
Another carry for Ingram. Puts a little forearm into it at 5 yards on first down.
That's a good tough run. And he put on some armor, as they said, this past offseason and wanted to increase his strength and his weight so he could make those types of plays.
Texas really going with tempo here. Another broken tackle as Parker Braun is trying to help the cause, and he is slammed by Kamara. And they will mark this within a yard of the first down marker. So the knock on Ingram is what happens when he struggles early in games. Gets down on himself and he's tough to get it back. This, though, is a good shifty run, and Texas now into plus territory.
That's an excellent run. That's great vision. He saw the cut back there, an explosive cut. He gets through the first level of the defense. Nice cut. And he gets in and out, increased his speed throughout his cut, and then the finish. That's what you'd like to see from Keontae Ingram.
Ingram to the sideline. Roschon Johnson checks in. 4 carries, 35 yards for Ingram. That will do it. Ellinger, 11 for 13 through the air, and movement with Junior Angalau.
Five-yard penalty, remains first down.
And there go those penalties again for Texas, showing up. I mean, on the year coming into the ball game, they had 43, which ranked them 9th in the Big 12, one of the worst teams in the country, averaging right at 7.2 penalties a game. Yikes.
Moves him 5 yards back, 1st and 15. Eagles shifts closer to the sideline. A quick stop and all the money to Brennan Eagles. Eagles has picked it up. He's really struggled the past few games. Just 3 catches for 15 yards against Oklahoma and West Virginia combined.
They were excited about what they saw from him in the spring, and really thought that this was going to be a breakout year for him. He's been the big play wide receiver. And what I mean by that is in terms of yardage. I mean, we all know that Devin Duvernay is the guy, but as he continues to grow, he'll find his role in this offense. But Sam tonight has really been looking for him, and the chemistry between those two has been great.
Eagles still the best in terms of the big shot downfield. Duvernay does it in volume. Back to Eagles, and that's off his fingertips. That was the issue against OU. Not just Eagles, but multiple receivers.
This wasn't the best thrown ball. It's a tad bit behind him, but what Sam was trying to do here was throw him open. There's space on the outside, and he sits that route down and trusts his quarterback. See, he's still moving in and not towards the quarterback, and that makes it hard to make that catch. As Sam was hoping, he'd set it down a little stronger so that ball could throw him open, he could spin and pick up more yardage. Now you've got a key 3rd and long situation. Kansas is not a team that likes to blitz. They're going to drop numbers back, cloud up windows, and force Sam to beat him with his arm.
Here comes Kamara. Over the middle to Smith. Smith trying to extend it instead of cutting upfield, and he's going to be shy. Will Tom Herman go for the 4th down again? This is usually the territory where he will.
Yeah, between the 40s. And they brought a 6-man pressure. They only blitz 8% of the time. So it's fair to guess they won't blitz, but this time they forced Sam to get the ball out earlier, and you just needed Jake Smith to miss one time. They've got to come back and make it right here. The ball needs to be put in Sam Ellinger's hands. Let him make a play for you.
Ellinger, quick toss to the right side, incomplete. Kansas will take over. Back-to-back possessions. The Longhorns offense fails to convert on 4th down. And ladies and gentlemen, Kansas, when we return, will have the opportunity to take a lead in Austin for the first time since 1997. Les Miles gets the job at Kansas, wants to open up the offense more, hires Chip Lindsey to be his OC. Problem is, Troy comes calling. Lindsey leaves to become the head coach of Troy. So Les Kenning, the last hire of the Kansas staff, is made, former Texas wide receiver. He's the OC, more of an old school approach. Doesn't work out. So Brent Dearman named the OC. He has never been a position coach or a coordinator on the Bowl subdivision level. He was a guy that was coaching at Bethel, an NAIA school in Minnesota a year ago. They averaged 55 points per game, which led all levels of college football. Stanley looking downfield. He's got a man. It's Parchment. Parchment cannot keep his feet. He's down at the 10, and Kansas just almost took the lead.
Well, and behind Carter Stanley, they can. We talked about it in the open. This is a different type of Kansas team. They go max protect, make sure they can keep him clean in the pocket, that quick release, the beautiful deep ball, the weight of the pass just falls in your hand like a loaf of bread. It's just thrown perfectly, and now Kansas coming out after the second fourth down stop, takes a shot downfield and wins on the side.
50 yards to Andrew Parchment, 1st and 10 at the 10. Here's Puka, cuts it outside, Overshawn, a great open field tackle.
That's next level. I mean, that's a hard tackle to make, and if he doesn't make this tackle, he's going to skirt down that sideline, gather his feet, and score points here. You'll see Overshawn at the top of the screen come back. Here's what I love, the ability to close that gap. You cannot give a guy like Puka Williams more than 3 or 4 yards distance between you and him, or he will shake you out of your shorts.
Torrey Lockett now in to take the direct snap. Lachlan playing his first snaps of the season. He'll keep going up the middle, tripped up immediately in the backfield by a day away. 3rd and goal.
Yeah, we've seen this a few times. I don't like that play call from Dearman. Number one, Carter Stanley's in a groove. Keep him in the ball game. They went to Lachlan on a 3rd down previously. You take your guy off the field. If you say he's the man, I understand what you're trying to do. You're trying to get more of a running threat, but right now Carter Stanley's leading this offense, and he's beating the Texas defense with his arm, his running ability, and his brain. Keep him in the ball game and see what he can do.
No Parchment for Kansas on this 3rd and goal. Pressure, Stanley beats it, has a man over the middle, and the Jayhawks take the lead. To Kulve Williams.
Oh my goodness.
First time that Jayhawks have led in Austin since 1997.
I'll tell you what, man, on film, there are 3 things that really stand out for me with Carter Stanley. His scheme savviness, his passing prowess, and his pocket mastery. Here, you see all 3. I mean, the way he navigates the pocket and moves around, and then he comes back with an excellent throw, and then the understanding of what was coming. He knew the pressure was coming. It didn't faze him. Connects with his target on a perfect ball across a vacated middle of the field.
So another failed 4th down attempt by the Texas offense leads to points for Kansas, and this is big time. Stanley with a man in his face to Williams. And for the first time since Makovic was the head coach, the Jayhawks lead the Longhorns in Austin.
Oh, if you are a Jayhawks fan, you know, this is a situation where you may be thinking, well, we don't want to get too excited. Listen, from everything I've seen from this Jayhawks team, I told our crew earlier today that this was going to be a fight. Les Miles has brought a different mentality, but it's players like Carter Stanley, who's had a number of coaches in his time here, I believe 7 to be exact. These are some resilient kids. And Les told us yesterday, he said, I love this team. This is a team that wants to be great. And they played Oklahoma better than I've seen Kansas teams in the past play 2 weeks ago. They're ready for this matchup, and several of the guys on this roster were on the team that beat Texas in Lawrence.
To Kulve Williams, his first catch of the season, only his 6th catch of his career, first touchdown of his career. He's going to remember all of that for a really long time.
Indeed.
And a fair catch called for by Jamison. Let's check in with Chris Budden.
Well, guys, when we talked to Les Miles yesterday about the team he inherited, he said, I couldn't really gauge where they were mentally, but we put together a room and there were sayings all over the wall, sayings like, be the momentum, embrace your responsibilities, focus on the now. And the group said when we walked in that door, we felt like we were a new team. And I can tell you, I've talked to several players throughout the week. This is a team that believes they can get to a bowl game. Those losses in the past are in the past. This is the team that believes, and you can see it on the sidelines.
Texas needs to respond. The stadium has gone quiet. The Texas offense has gone cold. Roshan Johnson brought down near the line of scrimmage. Najee Stevens-McKenzie with the tackle.
And to Chris's point, I think they've got playmakers too. This is not just a team that is desperate with belief. I mean, listen, you start to look at some of these guys on this roster, and they look the part. I was down on the field earlier. I mean, they look like NFL players. In addition to that, they've got some talented veteran guys all over this roster.
2nd and 9. Roshan tripped up. Nice stop. Gavin Porter.
And he read
Potter,
that play.
excuse me.
Yeah, and Potter had the mind game between your interior linebackers and the quarterback. He saw the check, he checked it off, then Sam checked it off, and So they were going back and forth, the chess game between two players that are controlling their sides of the ball.
Kansas defense trying to force a 3-and-out. Momentum squarely on their side. Johnson motions out, empty for Ehlinger. Here comes pressure up the middle. Ehlinger is sacked, and Potter brings him down in a little shake for the celebration.
This is what you saw last week when you watched film. Now, they've got enough guys to block here, but the one-on-one matchups, they're losing those battles. That time there, it was Parker Braun. You have to take your man. You've got enough here. If you give Sam the time, he can step up in this pocket, he can move, he can run. And I think when I looked back, that was the most disappointing thing. And from the staff standpoint, what they told us, that was also disappointing for them as well. They just weren't winning their matchups.
Bucheski to punt it away. Kenny Logan back deep, fields it from the 25. And good field position for Kansas for the third straight drive as the Jayhawks will take over on their own 40-yard line. Back-to-back touchdown drives. A 3-and-out, and Jayhawks trying to shut the world.
And if you're just now joining us, this KU offense is showing everything they've have seen this season long. It's Puka Williams, one of the top backs in the country. The slippery elusiveness of him allows him to get in the end zone. And then Carter Stanley playing excellent ball, going over the top, beating the Texas secondary, and then picking them apart on the blitz for another touchdown. And Kansas in control of this game right now.
Overshawn, another big hit. He's had a couple of those as Texas trying to find a way to get some juice, to get some life.
Yeah, and he's probably upset still from when Carter Stanley ran him over there at the goal line. And since that play, he's come back, and you can tell he's aggressive. And his angles have been excellent, something that we didn't see from, frankly, B.J. Foster and Brandon Jones last week.
The big spark was a 65-yard scamper by Puka Williams. Flag on the play here. That was on the first scoring drive for the Jayhawks. They settled for a field goal.
Ball start, offense, number 4, 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
So that's going to go against Parchment.
That's big. You know, and for the outside players, you're always taught if you're a wide receiver, you're watching the ball. You should never be offsides. You're literally looking inside at the football. Just move when it moves. You know, and I know that's got to be frustrating for the Mad Hatter.
His son, Ben Miles, alone back with Stanley. And there to block. The float right over the hands of B.J. Foster and into the hands of Robinson.
All right, you want to see the throwing ability of this kid?
That's a touch.
You saw him go deep. You've seen him go across the middle. You've seen him pick the defensive part of the blitz. He threw a beautiful ball. I mean, just out of the reach, beautiful touch, nice loft on that ball and trajectory. And now he's coming back with another third down. Here's what they've run so far. Out-breaking routes from the slot where you see Robinson. And it appears, though, they've got a one-on-one matchup on the backside here with Cook.
Puka in the backfield with Stanley. 3rd and 5. Here comes the pressure. And Parchment in and out. Good defense by Kobe Boyce.
That's great confidence. You know, when you make those types of plays on 3rd down and your Boyce, that's big time. You know, and that can change how you play at that position on the island. Excellent job of transitioning in. He gets some on the wide receiver, and he just knocks that ball out of Parchment's hand. And Parchment has won a lot of matchups in one-on-one situations. He's a man beater. That time there, Boyce having none of it.
Brandon Jones back to return. Texas with -5 punt return yards this season. The only team in negative yardage.
I had to look at that twice to make sure that wasn't wrong.
Fair catch. Texas will take over around the 15. Texas looking for something to go their way on offense. Down by 3 with 5:10 left in the first half.
This football on Longhorn Network is brought to you by Whataburger. Stop on by Whataburger and try the patty melt today. It's an all-time favorite for a reason.
Texas wearing the throwbacks to celebrate the 1969 National Championship season. The late great Coach Royal and his quarterback James Street. Got members of that 69 team on hand to witness this. Texas needs to find some of the old school toughness. Ingram into the Kansas secondary, looking for the sideline and more, and out near the 50-yard line. 32 yards for Keontae Ingram, his longest run of the season.
That was outstanding. You know, the cut, the break, and up until this, they had 7 rushes for 28 yards. They were averaging 4 yards a pop, and so you get what you've been getting in the second quarter in one run, and that was a beauty. Nice job of seeing what he needs to do and making it happen.
Ehlinger cannot handle the snap. Somehow he slips through and picks up 5 yards on first down.
That was sweet. That was like Puka Williams in the backfield with the spin. Big Sam, 6'3", 230. Oh, nice job. Now, that's the kind of thing that Sam Ehlinger brings to this team. That is a busted play that he managed to keep this Texas offense on schedule. This kid is really growing into a superstar.
Back-to-back drives ending with turnovers on downs and a 3-and-out after Texas scored touchdowns on the first 2 possessions. Screen to Duvernay, a little out front, and Duvernay can't hold on. There's been some misfires. There's been some drops. It hasn't been clean.
That's his first in 2 years. He literally has not dropped the football. He was on one of the longest streaks, and now this ball was thrown out in front, and this is timing. You know, that route is, though it looks easy at home, that is a hard route to throw. It's a hard route to catch. Your footwork has to be good to move out into that screen, and the quarterback has to put the ball in a safe location with oncoming traffic. They weren't able to connect, but still here, third medium. This is doable.
First drop of Duvernay's career. 3rd and 5. Ehlinger bounces it out of the pocket. Showing a good burst to the 30. And down near the 20. Ehlinger showing he can move those big old legs for 26 yards.
I love this. They rush 4, they drop 7. So what happens there? All the passing lanes are clogged up and you continue to push back. Well, you forgot about 11. And for the first time in a long time, this offensive line has kept pressure off of them.
Ingram looking for room. It's not there, but still manages to find positive yardage before Elmore Hempstead Jr. can force him out.
He's running with different determination. And listen, I'm just going to be honest with you. I played here when there was a lot of competition in the defensive back room. When you have competition, it brings out the best in you if you handle it with humility.
Ingram, another carry. He's to the 15.
Yeah, he's tired of hearing that Roschon Johnson has played better than him the last 2 weeks, and that's a fact. But what you're seeing here today is this kid that was so highly touted and one that this Texas offense, this Texas program, thought could be the next great one. He's running with a physical force, great vision, timing. He's looking like the Keontae Ingram that we saw in high school.
3rd and 3. Ehlinger moves to pocket, throwing on the run, and that is Duvernay. First down yardage.
And this is what this Texas offense needs. After scoring on their first 2 drives, they come back, they lose on a 4th down, another 4th down, and then they punt it the last series. So this is the first time they've really been able to move the ball since those first 2 drives, and they're doing it right now rapidly.
The fade to Eagles. Good defense. Bryce tornaded.
I don't know.
Hassan defense there.
I'm not sure. This was kind of handsy here once again, but the officials are letting them play in the back end. And it looked like there was some contact down low. And if you do it, you go low. But great ball skills to reach. You see that left hand on the backside? Looked like there was contact, but he did it the right way. An excellent break up there from defense. And this kid can play. He's physical. He's aggressive. He's got great ball skills. He's a legit corner.
That's where Kansas defensively has the most experience in the secondary. With defense. Speed option. Ingram thought he was looking at the end zone, but Potter makes a heck of a play. 6 yards there for Ingram, and Potter saves the touchdown.
This is actually good defense. They string this ball out, right? That's what Tornaden is doing. He's making them go sideways and not north and south, and that's what prevented him from getting in the end zone and having that space.
3rd and goal, empty backfield for Ehlinger.
Now, when you have an empty set, this is the time where Sam Ehlinger can run those design runs, those quarterback draws, and utilize his feet.
Already with a big conversion with the legs. Three-man rush. Eagles on the comeback, over the middle, and into the end zone. Soar, Eagles, soar.
Yeah, Hassan defense wins the first one on first down. And he comes back here. This is just a good matchup. These guys are getting after it on the outside edge, and the strong hands. Eagles last week dropped a few of those. This is a confidence booster for him. When you can be there for your quarterback on your team and make those key plays, your confidence continues to grow.
And a 10-play, 84-yard drive. The Big 12 known for explosive offense, quick strike scoring drives. What Texas does better than anybody in the Big 12 offensively is being able to sustain and score on long drives.
I like the rhythm there. I like the play calling from Tom Herman and his staff. I think they sprinkled it around in different areas, confused the defense. And keep in mind, there's a lot of history between Tom Herman and DJ Elliott. These two guys coached together at two various spots. They've done this before a lot. In fact, Tom Herman even lived with DJ Elliott up the road while they were coaches there together at Texas State, and also were at a stop together in Rice, but he knows him. And I think when you saw those middle series, that's what that was. He was making adjustments. They started dropping numbers back, confusing Sam, and then making plays. But this Texas offense, that looked like the Texas offense we saw in the first two drives, really established the momentum and rushed the football.
And that's out of the end zone. Kansas will start at the 25. Texas game day at the half is coming up. Alex Loeb, Jordan Shipley, Michael Griffin, and of course Ricky Williams. What we failed to mention, right, with 1997. So that was the last time Kansas took a lead. Okay. What we didn't bring up is after that, Ricky scored 3 touchdowns to respond to that, and Texas ended up winning that game.
And now look at him getting makeup on. Oh, isn't that cute?
So you brought up the point. You think Ricky may be legitimately going back with the dreads?
I think he's full out, man. That thing is nappy, and it is curled up, and he's doing it.
Stanley looking for Williams in the flat, stiff arm, and out shy of the 35-yard line.
And to that point, as we transition from Ricky to Puka, another Williams, right? This kid he does it in a different style, but he's a game breaker like Ricky was. And he's just a junior. You imagine that he'd come back if Les is doing anything. And then Carter Stanley, like I said, has really provided them another playmaker at the quarterback position as he's having his best year. And this is 2-minute drill. Every quarterback is judged on these types of situations.
Stanley keeps. And it's marked down right at the first down. And that's something the Kansas players told us. We heard from them and the staff that now, with Dearman taking over, every practice is a 2-minute offense.
You're right. You know, the pace of it, right? They run everywhere. You don't walk anywhere. And you run off the field, on the field, and that was one of the first adjustments he made with this offense.
Stanley drops the snap, but a whistle and the flag beforehand is going to be a false start.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
That's on Akeem Adeniji. Standout left tackle.
He's good. Yeah, he's one of the best in the Big 12. He's strong, he's physical, he's got great hands and feet, and that time there costing his offense.
Here comes the pressure. Stanley sidestepping it, looking for Charlotte, but incomplete.
Bring the pressure here, and Texas, let's just be frank, they've struggled getting pressure the last 2 games. And here you just see pushing through people effort. When you bring the blitz like that in the secondary, they've got to know that you're going to get to the quarterback so they can then play short routes and jump on balls. If you're not doing that, everything is off. And that's what you've seen from Texas the last few games of the season.
Stanley with a cleaner pocket, a man over the middle, 2 shots. And Dalen Charlotte is close to the first down. It'll be 2 yards shy.
That was a throw, man. That was a dart. Wow.
Those are some of those next-level throws that we've seen from Carter Stanley.
I mean, he put this thing on the money. I mean, you just watch it here. It's an in-breaking route. I mean, great feet here. You see how quick he got that ball out of his hands? That's what makes him so dangerous.
And that's something that Dearman told us. That quick release is what you recruit to run this offense.
Right.
It just so happens he had it as Dearman took over.
And it's concise. It's so tight. And I asked him, what goes into that, and he talked about arm extension in terms of how far he comes back with the ball. And if you don't come back far, hey, guess where your power has to come from? Your base. You saw him with his feet set there like a veteran, and he zips that thing in with RPMs. Carter Stanley having one of his best years against Oklahoma, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. I mean, he's done this against some big defenses. He's done this against Texas, as he was the quarterback that led them to a victory there in Kansas.
And he's trying to match Hellinger in this one, play for play, and has done a fantastic job here in the first half. A big 3rd and 2 with 1:09 before the break. To Williams. Stanley will give him a block. Down the sideline, past Cook. One man to beat. And Puka Williams into the end zone. How did he do it? There was not much there for Puka Williams.
There's so much communication going down here with officials. I don't know what's going on.
One official on the sideline did raise his hands, but then let Williams keep running and did not stop the play. And that's what he was raising his hands for. This will come back.
Whoa.
Yeah.
This kid is special. Oh, my goodness.
The runner stepped out of bounds at the 32-yard line. Please put 1:02 on the game clock.
Yeah, and I want you to see something that's been a common theme for this offense. Carter Stanley is also blocking, and he does this a lot when you watch him on film. It's just being there. I mean, and then you get an excellent block from the fullback, Miles, to clear the way. And listen, this team is for real. And I'm telling you, if you think that this is just a fluke, you've got to go back and watch the way they beat Boston College on the road. This is a different team with veteran players, and they've got talent on every level of the football field.
25 yards for Puka Williams. That one man he was trying to beat, David Binda, sums up the injury situation for Texas.
Good point.
This is his first game of his Texas career, true freshman. It was actually moved to running back earlier this year. Stanley looking for Parchment, and it looked like Texas may run under that for an INT.
And you see Carter, he is barking downfield at his wide receiver. Miscommunication there, and he's telling him whatever he saw, the wide receiver didn't see. And when you run those option routes, you've got to be on the same page. What you're essentially saying is they're going to determine the route post-snap. During the actual route is where you go, and they were off there, and Carter Stanley let his wide receiver know about it.
2nd and 10, 56 seconds left. Kansas with 2 timeouts remaining, and there's a flag down.
There is no foul for intentional grounding. There was a receiver in the area.
Interesting that was even a question.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it was because they had miscommunication. It was an in-breaking route, and maybe that's what Tom is trying to say, but I think he thought that he was going to continue to run that route into the boundary, and he didn't. That's what I saw.
And timeout, Tom Herman in Texas. So, been talking about this. You saw a potential upset in the making here. Why?
This, for me, is pretty simple. This formula is simple. When you have depleted depth, Texas does in the secondary, and we've seen Carter Stanley tonight take advantage of that. Then you've got to overlooking the opponent. Texas coming off a loss to their arch rival. Will they be ready to get back up on the horse and ride? And then the program-changing players. Carter Stanley playing his best ball. This wide receiver core maybe at its best. And Puka Williams. And then the contrasting styles. Texas has struggled with RPO offenses. You saw it last week versus Jalen Hurts. And the last thing is courageous coaching. Will Les Miles and the rest of his crew make calls that challenges that man right there? We've seen it happen. This is a battle. And if you think for a second that Kansas is not for real, I'm telling you, you got to go and watch the film. This doesn't surprise me at all, and because of that, I see this being a close game and maybe even a fourth quarter game.
And somewhere there's a trick up that man's sleeve.
Yep, you know it's coming.
Les Miles. Dumping it to Puka Williams. Puka to the right side to the 20-yard line and brought down by Brandon Jones.
How does he stay on his feet? His balance, I mean, he's like a cat. When he falls, he always falls on his feet. This time here, just gets tripped up. The ball was thrown a little bit behind him, makes a nasty cut, stays on his feet. Phenomenal talent.
We asked Les Miles, what's the offensive approach? He said, get the ball to Puka,
no fly.
Period. Stanley to the right side, and Lassiter is there stepping out of bounds for the quick completion.
I like how they're managing this drive. I mean, now you're inside of the red zone. You've got 35 seconds. You've got an opportunity here to make some plays. You can still utilize the middle of the field. You can go outside. You can even hand the ball off to Puka here. A lot of options here for the Jayhawks.
2 touchdowns and a field goal in the red zone tonight for Kansas, and Tom Herman wants another timeout.
I don't blame him here. Just settle down your defense. They've moved up the field too fast. I mean, it just calm them down, talk about the plan, because these are key points. Kansas scores here, they go into halftime, perhaps up. And, I mean, that is indicative of what the game has looked like because Kansas has hung. And then on the flip side of that, if you bow your back here and you hold them to just a field goal, that is what the Big 12 defense has become to. Can you shave those 4 points? That could be the difference in the game.
Did you see that thing that Les Miles was fiddling with on his finger?
What was it?
That's the national championship.
Oh, the natty, huh?
One of 5 active coaches with the national championship.
He walked in with that bad boy yesterday, man.
Dabo, Jimbo, and Mac.
Oh, boy.
One of the rare guys that I see wear it.
Good point. Most people don't, especially if you're not at that school that you were coaching at when you got one.
Hey, if I had one, you know I'm wearing it.
Man, I'd wear it around my neck. Big second down here for Carter. They like to run out of this set.
They won't. Play action to the left side, looking for Parchment. Boyce is there, and incomplete. And Parchment, good class there to check on the Texas cheerleader, make sure she was okay.
What a gentleman.
Parchment saying, I made the catch. And the officials are saying no, out of bounds. There was just a signal. Incomplete.
They made the catch, but did he say in bounds? That's the question here. No, he's out down. That's right foot. But he did make the catch. I don't blame him. Big third down here. And if you're this Texas defense, who is going to make a play? Someone has to take charge and become that guy. We just haven't seen enough of that from this Texas defense.
Pressure. Stanley drops it, scrambles, lofts it to the end zone, and Robinson was doing everything he could, stumbling and bumbling to try to fall under that football.
It's just well, nothing went right here for Kansas. And so you have a mishandled snap, then you come back, right? And he actually did a good job of even getting that ball away and giving Kansas a shot there. That was close to him making a Sports Center top 10 type play.
2 steps.
You're right.
2 steps.
And this ball game would be different.
It's going to lead to Liam Jones, 1 for 2. Missed a 46-yarder.
Do you ice here? Yeah, Tom's going to ice. Absolutely.
And there is the remaining timeout. Same strategy that Lincoln Riley used against Cameron Dicker. We talked about that Monday on our Rewind show. He said it's a good call. You can't take them with you. So if you had 3 timeouts, you better use them all to try to ice the kicker.
And I think more than anything, with specialists, right, they can get in their own heads. And I had a game a few weeks ago versus SMU and Tulane on the road, and they could not kick an extra point. I mean, and you're thinking to yourself, there's no way they're going to miss another, and they did, because specialists, when it comes to that, it's so much mental because they just do it rapidly and repetitively. And so for him, I've always thought this is a good call, and if I were a head coach, I'd go to him every time, and like Tom said, what's the purpose of keeping them?
No more timeouts. 37-yard attempt coming up for Liam Jones. This would be 1 yard better than his previous season long. His miss earlier was wide left, and it's blocked. Joseph Osai, of course.
My apologies, Mr. Osai. You are the dude. And we talked to this guy yesterday. Oh, I love his personality. I love his hunger, his heart. This is just wanting to make a play for your team. I said, who's going to be the guy? He's done it before. He had an excellent game last week. He just steps through. And we're talking about a long body, an athletic kid who has the work ethic, right, of a walk-on. Yeah. He is for real, guys. And I'm telling you, Texas, when it comes to defense, if 46 is out there, you've got a shot to make plays. In coverage last week versus tight ends, jamming guys up. And this kid's for real. And he's looking like he's a little gimpy right now. We'll have to make sure he's fine.
14 seconds before the break. Texas will be content to just go to the locker room with the lead at this point in time.
I think that's a wise decision.
Wow, Kansas, though, making a statement here and perhaps some foreshadowing, looking forward to what's to come in the third quarter, the fourth quarter.
You're right.
Could this game stay this close?
They're not outmatched. They're not outmatched, and they've got players. And if you're Texas, you go back in and, look, respond to adversity. You've been here before. And for people that have watched football know this is not the same Kansas team of years past.
Here's Chris with Tom Herman.
You've now seen 2 quarters of Kansas' new offense. What adjustments do you need to make it happen?
Well, we got to stop the quarterback run. They're running a lot of zone read with a fullback out there. That we've got to bring extra hats to the party, so to speak, to make sure that we can fit it up right.
What have you seen out of your offense today?
Well, other than the 3 and out with a sack, you know, I thought we did well. The 2 4th down plays, we got to do a better job calling, you know, a play that we can execute better, I guess. You know, I mean, those were the right things to do from the +40, but obviously with our defense as banged up as they are, our offense has got to do a good job and convert those.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Carter Stanley and Puka Williams giving Kansas a chance. They took the lead only to see Texas take it back and keep it into the break. Texas came to end the half now with Alex. Welcome back to Austin, Texas. At the break, yeah, a little too close for comfort for the Texas Longhorns. A 21-17 lead over the Jayhawks as Kansas is trying for the first win ever here in Austin. And this is a series where here in this city, I mean, 34 points per game. That's the average that Texas wins by. Yep. They started off really well, Ahmad, but then Kansas came back.
Well, it looked like Texas offense had found its rhythm, and it looked like Kansas a bowl. And then it shifted as you saw Texas come out with some quick touchdowns. They were moving the ball up and down the field at will. But you got to give Kansas credit. I mean, Les Miles has his team prepared. They've come out here, and they're ready to fight. And if you're Texas, in order to get this thing right and for this to be a W at the end of it, your playmakers are going to have to make plays, period.
So Kansas won the toss. They deferred. So they will receive the ball here to start off the second half. As Robinson will let this go out of the back of the end zone, Kansas will start at the 25.
And here's the start we were talking about. Texas in great offensive momentum. Roschon Johnson with the touchdown. They come back, and Sam was putting the ball on the money. You see it here. Jake Smith, the freshman wide receiver, with the wiggle and the touchdown. And then here's where Kansas started to make a charge. Puka in the end zone. They come back. Carter Stanley picks the blitz apart for another touchdown. They took the lead there, but Sam not having it, coming back, connecting with Brennan Eagles on the edge, and that is what has given Texas this lead. But Puka Williams is for real, and this offense is charging.
No surprise, first carry to Williams, 1 slip tackle, and Byron Vaughns brings him down. Vaughns is playing really his first action at linebacker. He's been very good on special teams. Here's another storyline. Malcolm Roach, team captain, returns. He got the targeting call in the second half against Oklahoma, so had to miss the first half.
He's the leader on that D-line, and so I think that'll give them a boost. And you were talking about Vaughns. That's a great tackle. He's 6'4", 245 from Fort Worth. They've got talent. They've just got to bring it all together.
Stanley will throw Lassiter, and Lassiter will pick up the first down. Osai brings him down. Let's check in with Chris Budden.
Well, I spoke with Les Miles at halftime, and he kept saying, finish drives. We should be finishing drives. If they think at this point they should be having the lead. He said, I thought we played well, but we just have to learn to finish. For Texas, one quick injury note, Joseph Osai, who limped off after that blocked field goal, injured his ankle, but they taped it up, and he is available to play.
Looked good making that stop we just saw, but right now Malik Clark, starting left guard, is down for Les Miles and his Kansas Jayhawks. He does have a point there. There was another red zone possession right before the end of the first half. where it ended up as a blocked field goal attempt. But there was that play where Carter Stanley let it fly to the end zone, and Stephon Robinson nearly found a way to run under it for a touchdown.
Yeah. And I mean, you go back and you look at their first 4 drives, field goal attempt, they come back, kick a field goal, and 2 touchdowns. So they've moved within striking distance, and that's what he means by that. And then, as you mentioned, the one at half, that could have changed definitely the complexity of this game and would have given Kansas a lead had they been able to punch one in the end zone.
And let's also give them a pass for the first 2 possessions of the game where the offense wasn't quite clicking. I mean, this is the first time that Brent Derriman has been calling plays in the bowl subdivision.
Absolutely.
I mean, before this, the only jobs that he's had in the bowl subdivision have been as an analyst. 1 year as an analyst at Auburn, where you don't really coach. You're cutting tape, throwing out advice. That's where he was to start the season for the Jayhawks. Stanley looking downfield. Ben Miles tries to make the adjustment and cannot adjust in time.
Osai, he continues to grow right before our eyes. Last week, he had a play where he was in coverage on a tight end. I mean, I say he looked like a defensive back. If you'd put 5 on him, you'd have thought he was a DB. This kid is athletic. He's long. He's got all the specifications. What I think the best part about him is between the ears and in the rib cages. This kid has heart. He's got brains. He's a superstar in the making.
That's what Todd Orlando said. It's his internal strength, meaning the heart, that truly makes him special to go along with all the physical intangibles. 2nd and 10 here for Carter Stanley. Clean pocket, wants another shot, one-on-one coverage, and a diving stop made by Overshown. He has had a really good night of football.
Well, and Carter Stanley woke him up when he ran him over, and now he's making plays like this. Wow. Now, what I will say here is just technique. If I'm coaching him up and I'm Jason Washington, the cornerback's coach, why are you leaving your feet? It's harder to catch a ball when you're in the air. Stay on your feet, run through that catch, and you, my friend, would have had your first interception.
3rd down.
And this is where Todd Orlando's defense forces the offense to have to think with the complexity of his formations.
Stanley feeling the pressure, 1st down toss, moved the chains. Dalen Charlotte, a guy that started his career at Alabama, was the number 59th ranked overall prospect in the ESPN 300 in 2015. That was Malik Jefferson's class. So there is talent on this Kansas roster. To Williams, stuffed. TFL there for the Texas defense. Ojimo and Jamison with the stop. Now no sacks yet for the D. So Texas has allowed 14 sacks in 3 games. No sacks to show for it. Also,
they struggled. And if you're Todd Orlando, you can't do anything more. They brought dog there. That was a blitz that saw no pressure on 3rd down. Listen, you've got to get home base and hit the quarterback.
Play action. Stanley once again with time. Parchment is open inside the 30, and that is the leading receiver for the Jayhawks, who was injured, dinged up multiple times in the first half.
Carter Stanley is having himself a game, and I know that's probably a signal from the sideline, but he's flexing right now on this Texas defense. Man, watch his footwork and this release. That sucker's out of there so quick. He makes quick decisions. And like I said, his scheme understanding of both sides of the ball has been good all year.
He pulls it away from Williams and will step out of bounds. The threat of the quarterback run so much more pervasive here under Derriman.
What did Tom say going into half? This is what they have to stop. This was not something you saw on film from Carter Stanley in games past, but you also saw that he has the ability to run. He's an athletic kid. And so when he does that, it really does force the defense to defend where they are, and you have to watch the football in that mesh point. And Texas, frankly, has struggled with that. Jalen Hurts killed him last week. He was a master in the mesh point and really duped them at times when they didn't even know where the ball was at.
Out of the pistol, Stanley backing up, floating it to Miles. That's going to be just shy of the 1st down. The youngest son of Les Miles.
How did he get this ball off inaccurate? I mean, Carter, look at this. He's got pressure literally in his face. He's falling, throws it back, and it was a perfect pass. He's in the zone right now, and he's played like this all year long. Now you've got a 3rd and short, and guess what? You can run the football. It gives you a lot of options if you're the coordinator for the Jayhawks. 10th play of this drive. Here's where you start to see if this defense has endurance and physicality.
heavy formation. Stanley will fall forward, and he will have the first down.
That's a good play call. You know, and you hadn't seen it, but they lined him up, and Stanley doing the wise thing, right? Instead of just driving it in right behind the center, find that space and pick up those yardage and get that fresh set of downs. And now you're really starting to see a Texas defense that's worn down. Here in this red zone, you've got to get tight, and you've got to make sure that that fatigue doesn't turn into a mental mistake here because you are tired.
Jeremy said he would not be phased, would approach this like any other game on the NAIA level. Looks that way. Stanley takes a rip, was hit hard, and he's slow to get up. Jawan Mitchell got right into his midsection.
Yeah, this kid's a thumper now. It's a lot of stuff that he didn't do well versus Oklahoma, but when he hits you, I'm telling you now, he's got pushback and power. And he navigates through the traffic extremely well, and Todd Orlando is using him where his strengths are. He's a great blitzer through the middle because he's strong enough to power through. That's a good play from a guy that has gotten attention from his coaching staff and earned playing time the right way.
Williams in motion to Puka Williams. Williams to the outside, and he's drugged down by Brandon Jones.
The suddenness and the start and stop ability is next level. I mean, how do they not have him wrapped up? He's a Houdini. Oh, you have outside leverage if you're Mitchell, but his cutting ability is so phenomenal. But remember I said that 3 or 4 yard mark is dangerous when you close down the tackle. You've got to pursue him. You can't give him space or Puka Williams will make you pay.
Another 3rd and short. They went heavy with the keeper to Stanley a few plays ago. Miles, the fullback. Puka Williams, the tailback. To Puka, first down. And Puka Williams, over 140 yards on the ground, the most rushing yards against Todd Orlando as the Texas defensive coordinator.
You know what was pretty cool there was watching Carter Stanley check into that play. Originally, you don't know where it was going, but he came back up, he gave a signal to the fullback, they know going left, and just power football. I mean, Texas knew they were running the football, that's why they had their big package, and Kansas just out-executed the Longhorns.
Jayhawks trying for a go-ahead score for the 2nd time tonight. From the 5. Flag down.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 67. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Kevin Feeder called for the infraction.
He's 6'9". Shouldn't he be playing basketball? Listen, that's a big man right there. Holy smoke.
Les Miles trying to change the notion that Kansas is just a basketball school. Long road to do that. But Miles with the best resume out of any of the recent coaches at KU. Stanley over the middle, got his man Stephon Robinson holding on, and the Jayhawks take the lead back here in Austin.
Ooh-wee.
You got it.
Execution of the RPOs. Now, this is something that might have been a wrinkle. Normally, when you go to the fake side on the RPO, right? But you see the quick release there. What he's looking at, his eyes, he knew as soon as that filler player, which is what they call that gap player on the outside edge, when he vacates that, it opens up a passing window the size that a truck could run through. Carter Stanley puts the ball on the money, and despite good coverage from Brandon Jones, the toss and the catch was better.
Extra point up and good. A 3-point lead for the Jayhawks. The release, lightning quick. The play, Carter Stanley, electric. He finds Stephon Robinson. Stanley and the Jayhawks feeling it in Austin. First call that Brent Dearman made when he was promoted to offensive coordinator was to that man, Carter Stanley, to tell him, you're my guy. And his playing days always felt better when he knew the OC believed in him, and it's clicking immediately. 14-play, 75-yard drive, the most plays on the Kansas touchdown drive this season.
Most important thing is that they were 3 for 3 on 3rd downs, and Carter Stanley carved the defense up. He was putting balls in safe locations, and this offense right now is clicking.
Jamison calling for the fair catch. Let's check in with Chris Budden, as that is a touchback.
Lowell Brent Dearman, offensive coordinator and author as well. He wrote a book, The Evolution of the RPO. He said, I would have clinics, people kept asking me about it. I like to be a teacher, so I thought I'd just put it down to paper. And guess what? Only took 2.5 weeks. He was on vacation. He asked his wife permission if he could use some of the vacation to write a book, and he did. It's also been a busy week. I mean, you talk about the promotion. He got a new contract, which came with a new car. Oh, yeah, also got a new baby 3 weeks ago, a little baby boy. So it's been sleepless nights at the Dearman household recently.
It's called the past 3.5 weeks of his life a chaotic blessing. And a new car as well. The Toyota Corolla, dated, is done.
Well, and he told a great story. He said, you know what? My wife gets all the new cars, and now he's finally gotten them one now that he's the head guy on offense at Kansas. And if you're Texas, respond. We talked about those RPOs. This is an RPO team for Texas. They need great execution and keep this thing going.
Mike Lee nearly with the stop. Ellinger scrambling, breaking tackles shy of the 50-yard line.
He's making really good decisions, and Sam didn't have this feel last week, right? And Texas fans are so used to seeing him bail Texas out in situations like this, where the play was read by Kansas defense, him popping up the middle and gaining first down yardage. Sam Ellinger is a ball player, but like I said, there still has to be players around him that help him, so not all the pressure's on him.
And my apologies, that was tornaded with the pressure on Ellinger. 1st and 10. Slow developing, looking for Johnson downfield. And this time it is Mike Lee with the defense.
That's outstanding coverage. You know. Mike Lee is a very versatile player in the middle of the field. And one of the veterans on this team, this kid is covering one of Texas' top wide receivers. That's how much they trust him. When they go to that package, it's almost like playing nickel because of his versatility, his ability to cover, his ability to come up and bang guys. He's a small guy, but he will punish you.
Duvernay just 2 catches for 17 yards. Colin Johnson 3 for 24. Quick pass to Duvernay. The screen set up. Shackelford blocking downfield, and Duvernay takes it to the 40-yard line.
That was an outstanding play call from Tom Herman. He anticipated the blitz and the pressure, right, which now allows a lane right underneath. Now watch this. The perfect timing from Sam as he takes a shot there, like maybe a little helmet-to-helmet contact. However, Texas converts on a brilliant call from Herman.
Potter's been living in the backfield. Ingram slicing. And 10 yards on first down and more after that push. The type of play that in the past has gotten Texas energized. 14 yards for Keontae.
He looks different, right? We didn't see this last week, and he only got 2 touches, I know. But even in weeks prior, right, this is what he looked like when he was playing his best ball. He's determined right now.
Johnson. That is a straight-up, uncharacteristic drop.
Wow. I mean, and he had, when I say turf to run, if he could make one guy miss on this play, he'd have scored. Great decision there from Sam Ellinger in the RPO package. He just flat out dropped it. Now, keep in mind, he's been on and off the field because of injuries. So he hadn't been able to get the reps that you normally would, but even as a seasoned veteran and perhaps a first-day guy in the NFL, right, on draft day, that play has to be made.
Missed 3 games with a hamstring injury before returning against Oklahoma. Jared Wiley in a tight end. He split top of the screen. Ellinger flushed and hit, and down he goes for the 3rd time tonight.
And if you're Texas and you're Sam Ellinger, you're getting tired of seeing this. I mean, you're just getting beat by one-on-one matchups. That time there, one of their best offensive linemen and the next bright star on that line, Sam Cosmi, just gets flat out beat. And you don't want Sam to start getting busy feet because you're not doing your job. Keep that man clean. Now, granted, those are some good players they're playing against, but we saw this has been a trend. Last week, exact same thing.
Mulroney and Deneen with the sack, 3rd and 16. Johnson, open, tries to fight for more yardage. He will not pick up the first down. Let's see now if Herman wants to roll the dice. He will not. And here comes Cameron Dicker out after the 11-yard pickup from Johnson. So Cameron Dicker, 6 for 8 on the season.
Difference on that drive, sack yard.
Lining up from 39 yards out. to tie. And that's through and in. 39 yards and good, and we're knotted up at 24. As A.B. mentioned, sack yardage stalling that drive, which started very nicely for Tom Herman.
The story tonight has been Carter Stanley, 15 to 26, 173 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's done it with his feet, and this release, the accuracy, his passing acumen, outstanding, putting the ball on the money in the face of pressure, under duress, carving this defense up, and he's been the difference. He's been a leader that has been steady, solid play, and yeah, put your hand up, buddy, because you are balling tonight.
This is not Joe Burrow. This is not Jalen Hurts. This is not a guy with Heisman numbers coming into this game, but Carter Stanley is having one of those impacts, and it makes you wonder how big are the issues with the Texas defense.
That could be the case. I mean, they're thin back there, but you're bringing pressure. You're not getting home. You're not winning your one-on-one matchups when you do bring the blitz, and the secondary is giving up plays on key downs.
This was the lowest scoring offense in the Big 12 coming into the game at under 23 points. But they have gotten exactly what Les Miles was looking for when he made the change from Kenning to Dearman. More offense, more points, and signs of life.
You said it, Law. And you know, they've only gotten 24 points 3 times this year, including their win at Boston College. I mean, you're right, they don't score this many points. And then in addition to that, look at the plays. That's where he's making the difference. 59 is what you average, and you're already at 51. They're seeing more plays.
Puka Williams in motion. They give it to him on the sweep. And he's shaking his way up close to the 35-yard line. Texas came into this game with more than 10 missed tackles per game, leading the nation, the highest mark actually in the past 2 years.
Yeah, but Puka there, the patience. This kid just calmly moves through defenses with smooth, swift, and speedy force. He's the real deal, and Texas has to stop him. They've got to stop the run to have a chance.
Stanley. And that is underthrown as he had a man break it out of the backfield open.
Now watch the pickup here from Puka, and then the shot that he takes. Puka coming to try to pick up pressure, and that is what threw him into the quarterback. Those are always dangerous plays when you're around those knees. And outside, not trying to do anything malicious,
not a dirty
fight
play
for the ball, but certainly dangerous areas. And now you've got 3rd down. And if you're Carter Stanley, the quick passing game to the edges has worked for you. Texas appearing to be in a press look on the outside. Those matchups will be available.
Very successful conversions on the last drive. They give it back to Puka Williams. Big hole on the left side. Slips through 1 tackle, tries to cut back. He's still up past the 50 and finally out of bounds. 19 yards, and that may have been one of the most impressive 19-yard runs you'll see.
Watch the finish. I mean, this kid is a guy that, when I'm telling you, he consistently escapes grasp of defenders. He's got killer moves. He's sneaky. Look at the showcase here. And then the power on the end. This boy is dangerous, man. If you're Brandon Jones, it's hard to tackle him because you got to come fast, but he's powerful. And so he's putting on a full display of his skill set tonight.
He threw him off. Stanley, a little shake and bake, some contact to the head, and Coburn is arguing about the flag that was dropped around the 50.
Holding, offense, number 58, 10-yard penalty, replay 1st down.
Could you hear the reaction in the background?
And that came from Mane, who actually had the penalty. But listen, he's got his hands full with Coburn. I mean, this kid he's growing, and the staff is really excited about him because it's been a long time, really since Puka, but he's got a different type of power in the middle. Punafort, pardon me, for Texas, who was the defensive lineman of the year a few years ago. This dude just has brute force. He will push you back. It takes 2 people to move him. He's been a great centerpiece for this defense.
He's on the sideline here. Here comes Overshone, but the pass is complete out of the backfield up to about the 46-yard line to Velton Gardner, the backup for Puka Williams. Gardner back to the sideline. Williams will come back in. Something to keep in mind, 5:22 left to go here in the 3rd quarter. The numbers do drop for Puka Williams when he gets into the 4th quarter. How fresh can they keep him?
Good point. I mean, it's been Carter Stanley. That play there, that should have been a sack, but he manages to get the ball off once again. and complete it.
2nd and 17 to Williams. Bimage giving chase, and Bimage, big shot. But somehow Williams still finds a way to stay up. It's incredible for a guy his size. 5'10", 170.
And you saw this trend in the Oklahoma game where he had 5 receptions. They got to find any way they can to get him the football. He's just that type of exciting player. And you're right, the pressure here, the tackle, the punch. I mean, look at him. He's carrying the ball like Deion Sanders, takes his shot.
Prompt time.
Hey, look, he kind of juggled the ball out there, but he managed to keep on to it. And this is where you rely on your quarterback. Now, I will say, in between the 40s is 4th down territory, so they could have an extra down, depending on how close they stay here to the marker. The blitz is coming.
Here's the pressure. Overshown with the hit. Stanley goes down.
I mean,
first sack of the night for the Texas D.
They bring the house. Pardon me, Lowell. I mean, this is a 6-man pressure. And I mean, and they're coming. And they are charging. And it was a great job this time of finishing the play. We saw it last week, right, where you just were getting there, but you're not finishing. Texas needed that for their confidence. And now that gives you the momentum. I see you, Overshown. He needed to pay Carter Stanley back, and he has been.
First sack in the last 3 games. The Todd Orlando defense. Jake Smith back to receive the punt. He will call for the fair catch at the 22. Texas defense making a stand and getting Carter Stanley down. We got a good one here at the ATS.
Texas football on Longhorn Network is brought to you by Air Gas. Gases, welding, safety products, and nitrogen fog provider every time the Longhorns take the field since 1998.
Members of the 1969 National Championship squad being honored at the half. Beautiful scene to see them get the standing ovation and sing the eyes of Texas with the Longhorn faithful. We're watching a good one here, tied at 24. Pass on the money from Ellinger to Devin Duvernay.
I like when they get Sam on the move, particularly when right now Kansas is getting after him. 3 sacks on the night, and you move your quarterback. Give Sam a two-way go where he can run the football or throw it like he did there.
Texas looking for that tempo. Roschon Johnson, nothing going there as he's met by a brick wall. Gavin Potter, Willie McCaleb there with the stop. Bob McKay, Ted Coyne, part of the Texas practice midweek, had an opportunity to go out and address this Texas team. And it was all eyes, all locked in on 2 of the greats from that 69 National Championship team, the 2nd title team in Texas history. Roschon empties out the backfield on 2nd and 9. 4-man rush to Brennan Eagles. 8 yards.
Sometimes when you're at home and you see that back motion out, you're thinking, well, what does that do? Number one, it allows this man to see if they're in man coverage, zone coverage. It also thins out the box because somebody has to go with that running back. And that time there, Sam's communication after the motion allowed him to know where to go with the football in his pre-snap read. It was that recognition that allowed him to connect with the wide receiver and now put them in a 3rd and short situation.
3rd and 1, Texas 5 of 9 here tonight. Locking in on Duvernay, flag on the play as Ellinger was able to scramble for 1st down yardage.
Holding, offense, number 52, 10-yard penalty, replay 3rd down.
And that is a big one on the stalwart of this Texas offensive line, Sam Cosmi.
Well, they've already gotten to their mark, too. They average 7 a game, which this has to get cleaned up, and this is about discipline. The penalties, they've hurt this team, just like they did now. Now you go from a situation. Now that's one of those plays where, an offensive line coach may not be upset at you, but it did cost your team.
From a 1st down to 3rd and 11. Another 4-man rush. Ellinger stepping up in the pocket. He'll take off, looking for the yardage, and he'll get it. So despite the holding call, Ellinger does it again. 1st down.
This is the 2nd time tonight I've seen him do this when they've rushed 4 and dropped 7, right? So now you have an opportunity. But guess what happened? The O-line stayed on their block. That allows Sam to be able to go through his progressions and then pop out of the back door like he did.
Screen pass to Duvernay. Brewer trying to set him up. Duvernay can't get the necessary blocks.
Haven't had much success on that perimeter screen. Kansas has done a nice job of shoring that up and running to the football. And their perimeter players have done a nice job of fighting off blocks or pushing blocks back into areas that have made it uncomfortable for those guys receiving those balls to make something happen.
The middle two, that was Jay Deneen on the stop. Remember his big bro Joe.
Bad man.
Tackling machine for the Jayhawks D. Under a minute left to go in the third quarter. Tied up at 24. Quick pass, and that sails far over the head of Devin Duvernay.
Here's where, in this system, if you're Sam and you recognize that there could be pressure, you can get this ball out a little bit quicker. There's no need for a ball fake there, right? He saw it. He knew that's where he wanted to go. You just got to get the ball there. And that time trying to rush through his throw, he just sailed it. And that was a play where if they connect, you've got 2-on-2 on the outside, and Texas could have certainly won there.
3rd and 6, but this could be 4-down territory. If Tom Herman keeps with the trend of the night, it will be. Potter on the blitz. Ellinger gets out of it, and he absolutely bowls over Jeremiah McCullough, but he's going to be short of the first down.
He's down. He took a shot. It's a big boy, 6'3", 230. Welcome to college football. And he was determined there, you know. Once again, Sam making something happen with his feet.
Actually, McCullough held his own, but ends the play by holding his knee. It's going to set up a 4th and 2. We'll check on McCullough. He's in pain. Tough to see as the senior safety from Baltimore, Jeremiah McCullough, limps off the field with help of 2 members of the Kansas training staff. Big contact with the big boy, Sam Ellinger. He did make the tackle, leaving Texas 2 yards shy of the first down. So as he has tended to, reset here on what we've seen in the first half. Texas twice going for it on 4th down near midfield, which is very Tom Herman-esque, but twice coming up short. He told Chris Budden didn't like the play calls. What changes here, Amon?
Well, number one, the players need to win their one-on-one matchups now. And if I'm an offensive line, my coach is putting his check in my mouth. When it's a short situation, you're saying my line is better than your line, and we're going to get pushed, and we're going to convert. And right here, you got to give it to Sam. Some type of power, some type of RPO is what he does best.
To Roschon. Roschon Johnson picks up the first down. And the Longhorns now 1 of 3 on 4th.
He's very instinctual in terms of how he runs and what he puts out in front. He runs behind his pads, and at 6'2", 220, he's a big boy. He is the biggest back in the backfield outside of Sam Ellinger, right? And he really showed it there with some good force. 4th
quarter, how about this for a suspenseful surprise? Kansas and Texas will head to the 4th quarter tied up at 24. As the Longhorns will try to remain perfect in Austin in their series against the Jayhawks. Les Miles looking for a shocker. We'll find out how it goes down after this. Now for the cold hard facts presented by Coors Light. Tied up at 24 into the 4th quarter. Puka Williams, he's done everything for the Jayhawks. 170 rushing yards, the most against a tight Orlando, Texas defense.
Well, he's been great, but they've also, as a team, been good tonight. They came in converting 37.5 of their 3rd downs. They're at 62% right now. And now you got Shaq trying to pump up his troops here, the senior, who's got a lot of respect.
Roschon Johnson gets the carry after converting on 4th down, a little leap. And back-to-back first down carries for Roschon Johnson going up and over Davon Ferguson.
I mean, if you've got these types of highlights. Is it possible to go back to the quarterback room? I mean, that's sweet right there. I mean, I know he could be the ideal guy in an RPO system, but I like where he's at right now, and if I'm Roschon Johnson, I stay at that position.
9 carries, 45 yards. Quick pass to Brendan Eagles. Duvernay giving him a block. Eagles works with it, and down to about the 17-yard line.
I'm glad you brought up Joe Duvernay's block because that's what broke the play. What's been happening in the past, and especially versus OU, those perimeter players were pushing guys back into the screen, and it was no room for them to make a move.
To Roschon. Hit immediately. And Cody Cole was there, along with Azor Kamara. Yeah, the question about what position does he end up at full time, it can wait. Enjoy this regardless, because it is one of the most unlikely stories of the season. Low screen to Duvernay, good acceleration, end zone. Devin Duvernay, Texas takes the lead back.
It's a good drive for Texas in this offense. You convert on a 4th down, right? You show you've got some power, and you come back and you start sprinkling on the outside. And the blocking outside, outstanding. As you see, the tight end, Colin Johnson getting involved, Brewer. And that's what you want. If you're going to throw that screen, you better have some guys on the outside edge that like to block for their teammates.
12 plays, 79 yards for the score. Second touchdown drive of at least 10 plays for Sam Ehlinger and the Texas offense. Kansas, your response. 14 minutes, 1 second left. Yeah, the lights are on. Journey, Don't Stop Believing is blaring. Although that song is really more appropriate for Kansas in this situation. If you're the Texas fan base, you better believe that you're capable of knocking off Kansas.
Yeah, it's a great tradition here at Texas, and I think the one thing is this kid did not stop believing, right? And, you know, I love seeing players that go through the course of being a student athlete, have some highs and lows, and then when you get your shot, you ball out. You know, when they moved him into the slot where little Jordan Humphrey was a year ago, you figured he may have big numbers, but he's exceeded, I think, everyone's expectations, perhaps only except himself.
A flag down on the kick. So that's placed at the 30-yard line.
Offside, kicking team, number 33. 5 yards to be added to the touchback spot, first down.
So Devin Duvernay, the senior. Got a twin brother, Donovan, played a little bit this season. Cousin of Kyler Murray, and was named team captain prior to the OU game. Some of the leaders came to Tom Herman and said, you know what? Duvernay should probably be on that list as Juwan Mitchell meets Puka Williams in the backfield.
They really like this young man, and that was outstanding. We saw him earlier bust through the line. The difference between this week and last week, he missed some of those key plays. I thought Todd Orlando put him in some excellent spots, blitzing in between in the interior line and the A-gaps, and he just didn't complete the play. Tonight's been different for him, and if he continues to play at this level, get in the weight room, work with the staff there, I think he's set to have a bright future here.
Parchment and Robinson at the bottom of the screen. Stanley throws against the grain, finds his tight end, and that's Jack Luavasa with the 6-yard gain.
Guy down on the field for Kansas. But this is a good play call. You know, it's just misdirection, getting that Texas team moving one way. And I think Dearman's done a good job tonight of calling plays in his first game as an offensive coordinator, walking in here to DKR. But once again, on a 3rd down, what do? You hand the keys of your offense to your quarterback, Carter Stanley, who tonight has been exceptional. 61% this Kansas team is converting right now.
3-man rush. A baby over the middle and complete to Stephon Robinson. 14 yards on an absolute dart.
We'll talk about throwing ability. And Todd Orlando on this defense said it yesterday. He said, what scares me is this kid he's got arm ability. You know, he's got some RPMs coming off that thing when he zips it. And then that quick release allows him to throw it so quickly and to make decisions so fast that he can be successful. He's having an outstanding game tonight.
Quick give to Puka Williams and stuffed. Byron Vaughn's there.
That's a good sign for Texas. You've got to stop the run game. Put the pressure on Carter Stanley. Make him convert with his arm. But don't let this guy beat you, who was on pace to have 200 yards. And, you know, that's not something you want to give up ever as a defense.
Vaughn's, the redshirt freshman from Fort Worth, had a sensational open field tackle against C.D. Lamb off a punt and a loss against OU. Back to Puka. And Puka again hit. This time it was Bimage in the backfield.
Ooh, watch Bimage on this play. Jeez, he wins twice. He wins going one way. Look, he wins there, and then he comes back and wins again. I mean, that was outstanding tracking ability as a Kansas Jayhawk player is down on the field. What a play from Bimage, though. Jeez.
And that is Malik Clark down for the second time tonight. We told you leading up to the fourth quarter about how the numbers dropped significantly for Puka Williams in the fourth quarter. Just 3.5 yards per carry in the fourth quarter coming into this game. Is there a reason for that?
I think maybe you alluded to it earlier, right? He gets worn down, he's tired, he's had a lot here, and then this series, -3, 0 yards, -1. I mean, and then also think, look, where's the ball going? I mean, if you're defense at some point, you're like, okay, Puka's getting it, right? Because this is who he is. And, you know, that yard per carry is something that I'm sure he's thought about. But it only takes one play for him to pop a big one, change the scoreboard, and also change the course of the game.
3rd and 11. Stanley found Robinson the last time in this situation.
And he's connected across the middle of the field.
Downfield. Some contact there, and Anthony Cook will draw out the flag as there was a little too much physicality with Dalen Charlotte.
Yeah, the sophomore cornerback from Lamar learning a lesson tonight.
Defense, number 4, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
One thing that I have noticed, right, in watching the secondary, now, this is a fair play, and I think it started a little bit before that where the pushing and shoving, but there, if you're turned back for a football, that battle's going to happen. The problem is he's not turned around, right? He didn't turn around in time. You've got to get a feel for it if you're Cook. Now, this kid has all the athletic ability. Do not get me wrong. But you've got to learn the nuances of playing that position on that island where you can't make that mistake.
Vaughns blows it up in the backfield. He got Puka Williams. Carter got away. Stanley, excuse me, before Roach and Overshown bring him down.
Put this on your reel if you're Todd Orlando on how to defend the RPO. Blow it all up. You know, if you don't know where the ball's going, hit them both. And that is exactly what he did on that play. Vaughns has made some plays. He's a freshman, retro freshman linebacker. He's got great length. And this Texas team has the athletes. Now it's about finishing those plays and gaining confidence as they continue to grow and get more experience.
Downfield, looking left side. Jamison is there. Good defense against Andrew Parchment.
They don't play that time. And that was a bunch of pushing and tugging, and I've been very impressed with number 5. I mean, listen, we know with West Virginia what he did, but he's got wonderful instincts. And that could have been pass interference on the offense. But what I love about him, he's played wide receiver, and he really understands route concepts and when to anticipate when a wide receiver's dropping his hips. And his ball skills are next level because he was a wide receiver. He's a good football player.
Straight up grab Parchment's arm on that play. Here comes the pressure. Stanley deals with it, and it was fading. Could not stay up long enough for the Kansas receiver.
Yeah, you get the pressure in his face, and this has happened a lot tonight. They've gotten home, right? The quarterback hurries. They just haven't gotten home base. And Carter's done a nice job. Still getting that ball out of his hands, keeping it in a safe location. They're in his face, on his back foot. Gets hit there, takes the shot. And Kansas, now, this is also fake territory. We were talking about courageous coaching. If you're Les Miles, when do you roll the dice? Now may be the time.
4th and 12.
hey, this is the distance you do it.
And a flag, false start.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 1. 5-yard penalty, remains 4th down.
So that will back it up at this distance. Not too much of an issue.
No, it won't be. Not when you have Kyle Thompson. It's a good punt.
He's got the top average yards per punt in the Big 12. It's now Brandon Jones back inside the 10-yard line to receive. No pressure here. A high archer and a fair catch by Jones. Texas offensively will start inside the 10-yard line, looking for back-to-back touchdown drives as Ellinger comes back out. Big 12 scoreboard brought to you by Dr. Pepper. Jalen Hurts had a single incompletion, 5 total touchdowns, and a throttling performance over West Virginia. Baylor and Oklahoma State was actually close in the 4th quarter, but Baylor picks it up down the stretch. They win 45-27. That is critical because Baylor remains undefeated. And as you look at the Big 12 standings, it's OU and Baylor at 4-0. Texas has to win this game if they want to still control their destiny. If they drop this, Baylor would be the other team outside of Oklahoma controlling all the shots. Texas would have to beat Baylor and hope Baylor slipped up somewhere else if they want to get into the Big 12 championship game.
Matt Rule's done an excellent job, and despite Charlie Brewer being an excellent player this year for them, it's been that defense that's really helped them thrive.
How much juice does the Kansas defense have left? Ellinger to throw on first down. It's picked off! Kansas with Stevens McKenzie with the INT, and boy, oh boy, is that a game changer. Second interception of the season by Stevens McKenzie.
Wow. I mean, and Sam's only thrown 1 interception before this in this stadium. So he's played well here. He just didn't see him. He just did not see him. And sometimes that happens in coverage. But this is a bad mistake from Sam Ehlinger. And now if you're Kansas, you won't get a better opportunity in this game to show your stuff.
Just the second takeaway by the Kansas defense since the season opener. And they will line up at the 16-yard line. Tapuka Williams cutting up the middle. He stays up. Williams into the end zone. The Jayhawks on the first play after the interception punch it in with Puka.
That's a bad man. Jeez. I mean, he left a trail of defenders in the dirt. Every time you think he's bottled up, choop, choop. I mean, that's 2 there. I don't know how he got through that space, but there's something about the way he slithers through defenses and he gets real skinny, and then he's so powerful and strong. Like, he's going to break tackles if you throw an arm out there. He's a phenomenal athlete, and in my opinion, he could be the best running back in the Big 12, and I think he's in the top 3 in the country. Block.
Oh, that's huge. Jamison ends up with it. He's looking for a couple of points. Sideline. They're not going to catch Deshaun Jamison. How about that for a turn of events? From a tie game to a 3-point Texas lead.
That is huge. Look at Tom, he can't help but smile there. Second block tonight.
And who is it? The senior captain who sat out the first half of this game, Malcolm Roach, coming up with the block.
That's an outstanding effort play. I mean, there's nothing else to be said. He didn't give up, you know. This defense is tired. He's probably the only player that's not tired because he didn't play in the first half. And then it just falls right in the lap of an offensive player, if you will, who made the switch from wide receiver to DB and now starting at corner. Wow, that was a turn of events for sure.
An opportunity for Kansas to tie the game at 31 with 10 minutes left. And Malcolm Roach picking the right time to get his mitt on it. And Jamison, you're not going to find players that have done everything that Jamison has done in his career, and he's a sophomore. He's got catches, he's got carries, he's got a kick return for a touchdown, a punt return for a touchdown. 2 interceptions and now returns a blocked extra point. Find me another guy that has done that in his career.
Well, yeah, let me tell you something. They put out some great defensive backs there out of Houston and Lamar, and I played with one in Rod Babers, and these kids come in, they're ready. That coaching staff does a great job there, and he's been so unselfish. You could go to Roshan Johnson, but here's another young man. Whatever they've asked him to do as a staff, he's done it. And I know what it's like to change positions and do all that stuff here in Texas. That's hard to do, and it does take a person that is playing for the team and not for themselves.
That slips through the pylons. No, it does not. That was awfully close. So good field position coming up here for the Texas offense. As that kickoff goes out of bounds. Here's another look.
That was close.
That's tough to tell. Got a man on it right there.
Yeah. It's a better angle there, yeah. I can see there where you could call it. I mean, it almost hit him in where he's standing. You can see why that would be the call there.
How does Ellinger respond after throwing the interception?
That's the question.
Gives it to Ingram, who tries to bounce. The spin helps him get a few yards before David Ferguson takes him down. What a sequence. Back to back to back. From the INT, the Puka touchdown to the block extra point. Back-to-back carries. And Ingram is going to lose yardage. And Stevens McKenzie, the man that had the interception, makes a tackle and sets up a 3rd down.
This is all about Sam Ellinger. This is the time where your guy, the face of your program, takes over. He's got the athletic assets, a knack for making plays. That confirms all of his work. He's got the spirit, the spunk, all that stuff. But it boils down to making plays when the game's on the line and winning football games maturely for your team. He's done it before. Can he do it again here at DKR?
And not many people in this building expected the game to be on the line with 9 minutes left, but here we are. Ellinger will run, shakes a man. He juked Kamara and more to the 43-yard line for Sam Ellinger. 19 yards.
This is an outstanding play. I mean, on cue, right? So, but what's been different, the offensive line is at least keeping him off him for enough to make that decision where he can get through his progression and then decide, do I run or do I scramble? And this time doing a great job.
Downward pass, good pressure. Downfield to Duvernay, he's open! Duvernay for the score!
This is just great pocket mobility and mastery from Sam Ellinger. Look at the step up there. I mean, slides up into a safe and comfortable pocket, puts the ball on the money. That's big time. You make a run to convert on 3rd down, and you come back and have a touchdown. Yeah, big boy. It's your time, and you stepped up.
Duvernay, his 7th catch, 104 yards. As Ellinger also ties his career high with his 4th passing touchdown of the night. Momentum changer. Malcolm Roach with the block. Jamison with the return and the huge touchdown strike to Duvernay.
Texas football on Longhorn Network is brought to you by Coors Light. For the world's most refreshing beer, 21 means 21.
Unreal. We were looking at a tie game, and now a double-digit lead for Texas. Trying to make it 9-0 all-time against Kansas here in the state capital of Texas. Robinson will return. Robinson slips one tackle and takes it up to the 25-yard line. Montrell Estelle with the tackle. That drive right there, though, Sam Ellinger, he juked the top playmaker for the Kansas defense, and then a beautiful ball to Devin Duvernay. But the coaches will tell you, plays angry, plays with an edge. And for a moment, The big three of Eagles, Smith, and Duvernay were all tied with 5 touchdown catches because each of them had one in this game. But Duvernay has taken the lead back and has his third 100-yard game of the season. See if the Jayhawks have another response. Trying to get their go-to receiver, Robinson, in some space. Brandon Jones makes the tackle. And a nice gain on first down.
Here's what happens when your lack of depth right at the safety position. You put Brandon Jones, who's capable of covering guys in the slot, but you put him on one of their top wide receivers. And listen, he's stronger suited to be inside of the box, but with the lack of depth there, and that's been a matchup that they've gone through too. And he's just been maybe a step short where if you have a cornerback there, it might be a little bit different.
Hooker Williams brought down by Osai and Vaughns, but he's got the first down. Get the sense that this Jayhawks team is not done. Brent Dearman, his first game on the Bowl subdivision level as an actual coach, and he's the play caller for the Jayhawks. Up the middle, good run by number 9. There's the quarterback. Stanley can scoot. Takes a hit, but he's inside the 30-yard line. And Carter Stanley continuing to make plays. His longest run of the night, 37 yards.
You got guys down on the field everywhere. One for Kansas. Brandon Jones, at the end of this play, he goes down afterwards. His head down there, and Carter Stanley, he lowered his head. he's out here running like Sam Ehlinger tonight. I mean, literally, he lowered his head. You don't see that.
Is that the second time he's done that?
Third time, and he trucked the DB twice tonight. I mean, he's just playing out of his mind right now. He really is. He's in good rhythm. He's making decisions, and for everybody that's been questioning his athletic ability, can he run these RPOs? He's answered it tonight.
Malik Clark is down at the 40-yard line in Kansas territory. Brandon Jones is down at the 30-yard line in Texas territory. And this is something that the Longhorns can ill afford, another injury to a defensive back.
Well, that's your leader in the secondary at this point. And Jones is playing a lot of football around here as he's holding that right shoulder coming off, and you saw Carter Stanley's helmet impact and contact right there as he finished that run. And this is a career high for him tonight. You know, Carter Stanley, 65 rush yards, career high for him tonight. He's having a coming out party right here in Austin.
This is not good. Brandon Jones really favoring that right shoulder. This is a secondary without Caden Stearns already. Those are the top 2 playmaking safeties for this Texas team. Jalen Green is out. Chris Brown is out. They are looking for healthy bodies. Montrell Estelle will now have to step up and play that spot vacated by Brandon Jones.
Which means he'll be on the slot, covering Robinson, a matchup they've liked tonight.
Williams motions out. The throw down the sideline. Robinson tries to make the adjustment. He does. He's had a couple of chances to run under the football tonight. No. Second official says incomplete.
Well, this will be reviewed. Just run a roll route out there. You know what's interesting here is the ruling they made on the field. Because looking at it from that angle, I don't know if I would have been able to overturn this call. I mean, I didn't see where the ball bounced up from the ground, and he's got something underneath, and when he rolls over, he has possession. So it was all about what they called on the field. This will be reviewed, but this is going to be a tough one.
And it looked like initially from the sideline, it was called a catch.
Yep.
But then the official with the look in the middle of the field turned around and said no. So like you said, if this is ruled a catch on the field, it probably stays as a catch. But is there enough to overturn this?
I mean, here he's got his hand under the ball there. Now, they may be saying the nose of the ball hit there is the only thing that I could see. But from this angle, the best angle we have with our outstanding camera crew, that to me, that's a close one. And I think this play will stand for this reason. It looks like the nose there is down. However, like I said, depending on what was called initially is what could have been the difference here. But what an effort. You know, what an effort. And they went immediately after who? The guy who comes in the game for Brandon Jones.
Robinson has had a few opportunities to run under underthrown footballs, including one shot in the end zone at the end of the first half. And it's just been steps away for making the play.
Well, this wide receiver core is good, and the defensive staff for Texas gave them credit yesterday. They said, hey, look, these guys can win one-on-one matchups, and they knew they were going to have their hands full tonight.
The ruling on the field of an incomplete pass stands as called.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the right call from what was called. I mean, it's very difficult, and from what you saw there, it could have gone either way depending on the call, and I think the officials, when it looked like that nose was on the ground, is I'm sure what confirmed for them that that call should stand.
So it will be 2nd and 10 for Carter Stanley.
And do you give the young guy still help with Robinson? I don't know.
Rolling out, he had Miles in the flat, goes sideline instead, looking for Parchment, incomplete. So it's 3rd and 10. Keep in mind, Kansas has really had some issues in the kicking game tonight.
Great point, Bo. I mean, listen, at some point, if you're Les Miles, you got to have a go. We haven't seen him be the Mad Hatter yet with the decision where he's the gambler, and this could be it. This could be 4-down territory.
Gardner, the tailback. Stanley, sideline, and it looked like for a moment Charlotte would pull off the comeback. And that's going to set up 4th and 10.
Well, it's a 2-score game, so at the end of the day, you kick a field goal here if you're comfortable with your kicker. Come back and try to hope your defense can hold. Still plenty of time with 7 minutes to go. And they've decided to put the pressure on their kicker. He's already missed tonight, or twice tonight, so will he be in his head, or will he actually put this one through the uprights and give Kansas a chance to come away here with an upset?
This from 46 yards out. Also has the blocked extra point. Nearly blocked again. Will it hold on? It does. Back to a 1-possession game after the long shot by Liam Jones. Buckle up, everybody. What a wild sequence here in the second half. Sam Ehlinger picked off by Mackenzie Stevens. Next play, Puka Williams scores. Looked like it would tie the game for Kansas, but Malcolm Roach blocks the extra point. Deshaun Jameson returns it for 2 points. It's a 3-point game on the next Texas drive. 43 yards, Ehlinger to Duvernay. That made it a 10-point Texas lead. They got a stop, and the extended red zone leading to a Kansas field goal, and it's 40-33 with under 7 minutes left. Jameson struggles with that. Does get the fair catch. Remember, there was that situation with Duvernay against Oklahoma. Called for the fair catch, didn't make the catch, so the ball was ruled down there where he dropped it.
And then talk about the special teams woes that also happened here against Oklahoma State. You had a late Brandon Jones comes up trying to field a punt and gives it back to Oklahoma State. Yeah, that's the one thing you don't want to do. Don't make the mistake here to give Kansas an opportunity. And if Sam Ehlinger right now, underneath that jersey, there's an S, it's time to come out. We saw him in his last 2 plays with a 3rd down scramble for conversion and then a dart in the end zone. It's his time to shine.
Kansas showing pressure, backing off, but there it is as Roschon Johnson is driven down by Potter. Gavin Potter, we heard from DJ Elliott, he's the future of this Kansas defense. High upside for the freshman.
Yeah, he's playing well. I mean, he's almost leading his team in tackles, and he's right behind Tornado. He's been a force. He's got great instincts. He follows the ball well, he tracks it well, and then he finishes plays.
Top Kansas defender Drew Prox lost for the season against West Virginia. Ehlinger over the middle to Smith. Smith showing the wheels. Ball is out. Kansas recovers. It's going to be a fight because Brewer is fighting for the football and he may have it. And they're signaling. Where they're no. Everybody is stating their case. Did Brewer come up with it or not?
Is a completed pass, fumbled, recovered by the defense. Kansas ball.
Wow. The second, 4th quarter turnover by the Texas offense.
It's a big pop here. Let me tell you something. Mike Lee's a baller. I talked about it. That's a strike. All right, welcome to college football, Jake Smith. You're trying to wiggle. This is not high school. I love this kid. He's great with wiggling. But, look, I've been under one of these. I had my opportunity at Texas Tech on the road my junior year. It's a fight down there. And listen, here's the thing. You got to come up with the football. It doesn't matter until an official makes the call, and that's why you see fighting going down there. It's good ball security, but excellent helmet right on the football from Mike Lee. What a strike from one of the best safeties in the Big 12.
The glue guy of this Kansas defense, Mike Lee, senior from New Orleans.
Review.
Now they're going to look at this because I think there's a case that Cade Brewer made that immediate recovery.
Once again, I think it's the call on the field, and so we're back in this situation again as the Kansas players are convinced that they got the ball here.
Texas has been so good with ball security.
Yeah, you're right.
Second half interception by Ellinger. This fumble by Smith as Mike Lee forces it out. Tornadin goes down. Brewer gets there at nearly the same time. Who comes up with it, though? So immediately, Tornadin's got it.
I don't see this call getting overturned. I don't.
Brewer's got it there.
It's a dogfight when you're underneath, man. It's brutal. That's football, and it happens on every football field across the country. That's just that. I mean, this Kansas defense tonight, they deserve credit. They've come out here, despite Texas putting up the amount of points that they have, they've kept this team in the game, and they've made some key plays, key turnovers, and their effort tonight has been outstanding.
Shows up as 2 takeaways for the Kansas defense. In reality, 4.
You're right, because of the fourth down stops. You're right. Yeah.
Which led immediately
to points,
to touchdowns for Kansas.
Yeah. They played well tonight. They have.
So 21 of the points for Kansas after those
further
turnovers.
review, the ruling on the field stands. Kansas ball.
Mike Lee, Bryce Tornadin coming up with huge stops. Chris Budden, what can you tell us?
I spoke to Mike Lee this week. He said he had 2 goals, 1 to make a bowl game, 2 to get a turnover. And he's been working on stripping. He's been working with the ball machine on trying to get interceptions. He's got his TO today. His entire team was jumping up and down with him.
Great point. That was a nice takeaway. I mean, he just flat out flattened the freshman.
Remember, Tornadin was hurt earlier in the game and came back. Williams, met by a host of orange jerseys. He is still up at 170 pounds finally. Sits down on his butt and says, I've had enough.
It's laughable. I mean, we're talking Coburn, who this is not a guy you want to bump into, you know, while trying to get a snack. Yeah, he's going to win that matchup. But today, I mean, Puka, he's done it all. And I love watching dynamic players like this at any level because you never know when their moment is going to come, and he's had quite a few tonight. Still trying to hit that 200-yard mark rushing against this Texas defense.
Carter Stanley has been brilliant at quarterback. He's got time to throw, stepping up, looking for the end zone, and it's dropped. Parchment was there.
What a throw. I mean, money. Oh, my goodness. And Texas fans remember in that same end zone against LSU, another big drop. But I tell you what, he just flat out beats coverage, and the ball was put, I mean, as beautifully as you can place it. Carter Stanley's proving that this kid has NFL arm talent. He's a good football player, and somebody is going to find him a gem in this young man with all of his experience and his maturity.
3rd and long. Here comes the Longhorns. Across field, Cook is there with the PBU. All right, 5:28. It looks like the offense is staying out on 4th down.
Here comes Matt Hatter, but this is good coverage. Great pocket mobility from Carter. He puts the ball on the money. The difference is you're saying, well, he's contacting, if you're a Jayhawks fan on the back end, they're both competing for the football. The difference was he didn't do it with his hands. He did it with his chest, and that was why, in my opinion, that wasn't called. Big 4th down here. Give it to Carter. Blitz.
Sideline. Charlotte fighting for it. Does he come down with it? Does he come down with it? Yes, he does. Dalen Charlotte somehow fights for the football and wins. battling the sideline and battling Anthony Cook.
Oh my goodness.
How does he do it?
He literally caught it on his back. Now this could be reviewable in terms of when he actually gained control, because right here, he doesn't have control there. When does he get control, and is he out of bounds?
Got control there.
But I'm going to tell you what, oh my goodness, these wide receivers have attacked the football like they are a wild beast. They're playing a heck of a game collectively as a group.
Is there anything else you can do if you're Anthony Cook?
No.
I mean,
when does he have control? That's my only question here. But once again, it goes back to the ruling. So we're back there at square one again. Another close call for these officials.
Almost like Jalen Hurts going behind the back.
Don't remind Texas fans of that one.
And just to set the stage,
wow,
Kansas has never won a game in Austin.
It's about control for me. That's all. When does he gain control, and are his feet in bounds, period? Because he caught the football, but at what point? Right here, he doesn't have control. That ball's in no man's land, and I'd say about right there, maybe you could say he had control, but I don't know. And is that left foot out of bounds before he finally gets control? That, to me, is what they're deciding right now, and you could tell this is taking a long time. There have been some close, and you could say maybe even controversial calls, depending on the outcome of this game, for these officials to have to make. Wow.
Those feet kept dragging in bounds. In this place, you can hear a pin drop right now.
The ruling on the field of a completed pass stands. First down.
I'll go ahead and dub that the catch of the year for Kansas.
And Texas fans will say it wasn't. And, the reaction from the fans here was that they thought he didn't have control. And like I said, that was the #1 marker. But listen, to pull off an upset, you've got to get some luck. And Kansas has had some of that tonight. 3 controversial calls that could have probably either gone anyway have gone in Kansas' favor.
Back to Puka. Puka still fighting for yardage. Hit well at the 10-yard line.
That's good defense. Yeah, and what you have to do is have a frame full of orange jerseys to prevent #1 from popping it. And they're going to give him another touch. So if you're this Texas defense, you better make sure you're ready to go, because you're going to have to defend one of the more dynamic players in the country once again, especially when the fullback's in the game.
So miscommunication off the back foot for Parchment, and he makes the catch. He had the drop in the end zone and comes back and potentially ties his game.
Carter Stanley, my man, you balling out. Watch the throw here, okay? I mean, I'm serious. This is, you just got to be playing out of your mind, and he's been playing. He throws us off his back foot. Now, there might have been a little push there, and I think it's great handwork. I'm a defensive back, but I know that happens on every play. He's in perfect position to make this play here. Deshaun Jameson is. Once again, the throw and the catch, just better.
Last time Kansas scored, Malcolm Roach blocked the extra point. Kept the Jayhawks from tying it up. And we are tied at 40 with 4:25 left. This is unbelievable to consider the series history. Dominance in Austin by Texas over the Jayhawks, but it's a new era of Kansas football. Les Miles has the ring on the finger. He's played in dogfights like this.
I tell you what, I was so impressed with him yesterday. And for any question out there whether this man still has the juice and the energy, I walked out of our meeting wanting to slap on some pads and play for the man. He's a legend. He will be a future Hall of Famer, and these kids are playing inspired. And Lo, you brought up a point about the guys that you've been in contact that played for him in previous stops, and he's got this way about him that if you're a player, you want to run through a wall for him.
Yeah.
He knew that these guys were determined. He found the right group, and he and his wife Kathy have really come back and established something in Lawrence that I think could really make this team for real down the stretch. And what I mean by that is, are they going to win the Big 12? No. But they're going to beat some teams that may be playing in the Big 12 title game.
Yes. And again, Brent Dearman, first game as an offensive coordinator.
Nice.
And that is another kick out of bounds. Kansas has really struggled with that. So Texas will start at the 35.
Have they? Or is that strategy? Because
you think
5 back there does. I mean, he's got some wiggle now. Well, let's look at it. Les.
Keeping his cool. And this is a family affair for Les Miles. His son, Manny, is the backup quarterback. His other son, Ben, is the fullback. One of his daughters, Smacker Miles, is here tonight. She was a swimmer for the Longhorns, former Longhorn Network intern as well. And pressure is on Texas. First play, Ingram dropped for a loss. Kamara, the playmaker, with the stop.
This kid is the most NFL draftable defender maybe on the entire field tonight. He looks the part. I mean, at 6'4", 235, what can't he do? He's just one of those versatile players. These guys used to be tweeners where you didn't know where to put them. At the next level, he could play linebacker. Depending on the system, he could probably even play safety. He's that athletic, and he has made a lot of plays behind scrimmage. That's what he does. He gets in the backfield, and he finishes plays.
Jayhawks playing with house money. Will Texas feel the pressure? A game they cannot afford to lose. Looks for Duvernay. Way back and incomplete as Kamara with back-to-back pressures.
Senior taking over this series. He has impacted Sam's decisions. Watch him here. I mean, that's Cosme. Cosme will be a good offensive lineman here. He just blew by him, powered through it. The frustration on 11's face tells it all. Because the last 2 weeks, that's what's happened. The guys up front, the running backs and the tight ends have not won their matchups. You go back and look at Oklahoma, Sam has been under duress most of the time he's dropped back. That is something that, if they're going to compete for a title, they've got to shore that up.
3rd and 13. Do not leave this in the hands of the Kansas offense if you are Sam Ehlinger. With time. Up top and hauled in by Colin Johnson. First down by the senior captain.
When he has time, this is what he does. And this is with 7 dropping back. Sam has developed more to me in the last season as any quarterback I've seen in Texas history in terms of throwing the football. This kid, he's accurate. He's got anticipation, awareness on where to throw the football. That is an NFL throw from Sam Ehlinger.
Ehlinger rolls, looks back, over the middle of the field. Brewer is wide open, inside the red zone. A man to beat. He will not beat Potter, but Texas cooking now into the red zone.
And if I'm Sam, I look over at the sideline and I say, Carter Stanley, give me some. These guys are dueling right now. I mean, they are going back and forth. Carter will make a play. Sam comes back with another beautifully thrown ball. Brewer trying to get in the end zone with physical forces. They're back up on the ball, ready for tempo.
51 yards, his longest catch of the season. Ingram, up the middle, a final push. Yes, Texas reclaims the lead.
Yeah, this is what Texas likes to do, especially in the red zone. When they have a play that gets them deep into your red zone, look for them to get on the football and punch it right in. They did it against Oklahoma, and it's been a trend for them. This time the offensive line getting the right push, finishing that drive with a touchdown is big for Texas.
And Keontae Ingram with that carry over 100 yards. 14 for 101. Second game with 100 yards this season. Over 100 for the 3rd time in his career.
You know, the thing that I've been impressed with tonight is his determination. And anybody that's ever played at a program like Texas will tell you, there's something about walking in these hallways and seeing legends like Ricky Williams, Jamal Charles, Priest Holmes, Earl Campbell, and the list goes on, Cedric Benson. Rest in peace, my friend. The reality of it is when you walk into a place like this, you have to constantly stay humble and chase your own legacy. You can't get caught up in what's happening on the outside. Keontae is a guy that when he came in here, the sky was the ceiling. Everybody thought that he could be the next great one. He sputtered, and then guess what happens? The 3rd-string quarterback comes out and starts to outperform you. Sometimes you need a little motivation. I lost my job my junior year to then All-American in Nathan Vasher. I worked my butt off my senior year to be able to contribute to my team again, but it also taught me a lesson. Never count your ducks here when you're at Texas, because there's always great competition coming in and somebody that wants your job, believe me.
Here we go, 2:47 left. Kansas trying to shock Texas as that man, Carter Stanley, will try to beat the Longhorns for his second time. He was the quarterback back in 2016 with that upset in Lawrence that put the wheels in motion. It made the change, really, from Charlie Strong to Tom Herman imminent. 2:47 left. Kansas needs to score and not give the ball back to Texas. Swing pass to Robinson. He will not beat Jamison.
If you're Dearman and you're Stanley, here's where you start to form your legacy as Brandon Jones is headed into the locker room. Look, the play calling here has to be exceptional as Texas is moving personnel, and it looks like they've gone to a smaller, faster package. And when they do that, they are anticipating the pass.
Four-man rush. Stanley picks it up and finds Lassiter.
Yeah, his pre-snap recognition has been amazing. And how many times tonight has he bailed out this offensive line and this offense by throwing the ball on time and getting it out of his hand when the pressure is coming?
So with a key third down coming up, Les Miles, Brent Dearman, they want to take their first time out of the second half and talk this one over. Les Miles has really handed over the keys to Dearman and has not put many restrictions on him. Dearman told us that it would be pretty simple what he tried to do. They wanted to go fast and do that by simplifying the schemes that they run. Have you seen evidence of that tonight?
Yes, and it's made it easy for Carter to do what he does best, right? Which is sound decision making, which comes from gathering clues right in your pre-snap reads. And now your post-snap is easy because in an RPO system, what they do is, which has changed football. It used to be you had to call your play before the snap. Offenses now call they literally put the pressure on the quarterback and say, hey, you know what? Get us in the best play post-snap. It's changed football, and right now Dearman is one of the best in the country and one of the biggest brains of the RPO system.
3rd and 2 to Puka. Puka again making Texas defenders miss, and it's a first down.
Watch how low he gets to the ground here. Okay, I mean, it's the explosion. He makes this one cut, and it's, I mean, he's off. He is a guy that it's very rare that you see a player with his speed and at his size with his type of power and suddenness.
506 yards of offense for Kansas. Looking for Lassiter, tried to one-hand that over Schoen with the D.
Well, I'll tell you what, Carter put the ball where it was supposed to be. Once again, beating the pressure. And there's nowhere else you could have thrown that football, and if the wide receiver turns around, he makes that play. Those are the hardest plays to defend from the secondary. That back shoulder is what they call it, and if you have a quarterback that can throw it, it doesn't matter if your coverage is good, they still will beat you.
Stanley in the past has looked very pedestrian. This season he's shown flashes, but has not put it together, with the exception of the win at Boston College like he has tonight here in Austin. Robinson, nothing going there, and it will set up another 3rd and long.
Dearman will want that play call back. That's not a good play call as an injured player is down on the field. Look, I don't take the ball out of the hands of Carter Stanley or Puka Williams, and with all due respect, you can't do that right now with the way that this game is going, and that's a negative play in my mind.
Stephon Robinson is down. It was the one with the carry on that sweep. .506 yards of offense now for the Jayhawks. Does that say more about the direction that the KU offense is going, or some of the issues now for the Texas defense starting to mount with the injuries?
I'm going to say both. I mean, really, seriously. I mean, coming into this game, I watch a lot of film. I knew that this kid was ready. I told our staff, listen, these dudes are for real. And I know some people kind of, snarl their nose at me for saying that, but what I see on film, they can play. They've got people that can beat coverage. They've got dynamic players. They've got a defense that swarms to the football. They're for real. On the flip side of that, right, if you're Texas, you're expecting to have better talent, better coaching, better everything than Kansas. And Kansas tonight took that and put that as a chip on their shoulder. They've come into Bevo's house and have kicked their feet up with muddy shoes and said, you know what, we're not scared, we're not intimidated, and we are going to make ourselves at home.
We're expecting a jump for the Kansas offense. Well, perhaps not to this degree.
Play total and points, that's what you expect when you flip to the RPO, and that's why Les Miles made the decision he did.
And a timeout on Texas. So it was all Texas early on in this game, as the Longhorns scored on their first 2 possessions, made it 14-0. Kansas got back in it with a long Puka Williams run. This was that sequence, though, here in the second half. Ellinger threw the interception. Williams scored. Extra point to tie. Roach blocks. Jamison returns for 2 points. And then on the ensuing drive, Duvernay goes for the touchdown. Then Smith coughs it up. Mike Lee with the hit. Tornado with the recovery. Charlotte with the catch. Crazy on 4th down. And Parchment, after a drop in the end zone, comes back with the touchdown grab. But Texas would respond after that tied the game. Ingram with the touchdown run to give the Longhorns the 47-40 lead. 3rd and 10 with a $1:47 left. Your response, Carter Stanley. Pressure. He feels it, Puka Williams, but a great solo tackle by Joseph Osai.
Listen, that's next level, okay? They bring a 6-man pressure. Carter beats him again. He gets it to Puka quickly and fast. And Osai, I mean, he doesn't miss much. He's long, he's athletic. Making that play right there, if he doesn't make that tackle, Puka is going to be dancing in the end zone.
Ball game here, 4th and 5. Open man, 1st down and more, across the 50. Lassiter staying up inside the 30-yard line. And a 4th down conversion by Kwame Lassiter II.
Carter Stanley, respect, respect. Do you see his head movement, the recognition, the ways in which, and Dearman told us this yesterday, he said in order to have a quick release, you have to think quickly. Did you see how he went through his progression and then came back to the backside of the field on the money for a 4th down conversion?
36 yards, Stanley looking like nails. Over the middle, Robinson, end zone. Decision time for Les Miles.
You kick it here. You kick it here. And he's looking, but I think you kick it here. And I'm going to tell you something, though. Kansas, they came to play today. And they're trying to explain it to him. Right now, he's trying to lobby this coach. I've got a 2-point play, I promise, coach. And Les is like, do we roll him?
Or could it be the other way around?
He's going to take a timeout to think about it. That's the wise decision. But, boy, this drive.
Wow.
This drive. Whoa. Look at the ball here. Man, this kid, he's for real. I mean, that is a beautifully thrown ball. It looked like he was throwing that ball on air. Wow.
Wow, indeed. Chris is down on the sidelines. Chris, what is going down right now?
Well, they're discussing whether they're not going to go for the PAT or the 2-point conversion. I can tell you, if it's up to the players, they're going for 2. Before this drive even started, they were talking about if we score here, we're going for 2. They're not the decision makers, but they're letting their voice be heard.
This is what Les Miles is known for, rolling the dice. The 5 4th down conversions in that classic battle between Jacob Hester and Tim Tebow.
They are going.
And here comes Carter Stanley and the Kansas offense. They are looking to roll out of Austin with the win. There's still 1:11 left, but it's do or die here, down by a point.
No Puka Williams on the field? Wow.
That's a fullback flanking Stanley. Plenty of time. End zone open! And Kansas takes the lead on the 2-point conversion to Dalen Charlotte.
Well, that's why they wouldn't. This was a designed play to put the ball in Stanley's hand and win the game, if you will. because they brought the fullback in for max protect. That's why Puka's not in. They said, we're going to give this guy time to pick this defense apart, and he did once again. Poor awareness on the back end from the secondary. You've got to make sure you're covering a man and not grass and space. What a call from the Mad Hatter, and what execution from the Jayhawks. Oh, boy.
Said he had a group of guys, high-character guys that been through a lot, that were ready to fight like hell, and fight they have. That man, Carter Stanley, has made a name for himself. In case Texas fans forgot, that was the quarterback that led Kansas to the first upset against Texas.
Oh, boy. And this is always one of those things as an analyst. It's hard to predict what's going to happen. But I found out throughout the years in my time of doing this is for me, when I see an upset, this is normally what happens. You're going to get at least 4 of these things, and depleted depth. Check, Texas has it in the secondary. Overlooking opponent. I can tell you this, it didn't look like at times tonight Texas was ready to play this team. Program-changing players, Carter Stanley, Puka Williams, give it to them. Contrasting styles. They've had the right plays at the right time, and then courageous coaching. You go for it on 4th down, on an extra point conversion, right? Or you go for 2, and you could potentially win the game.
Kansas will kick short, fair catch inside the 20, so that helps them field position-wise, and it's going to be a longer field now for Sam Ehlinger. Has to get down and set up Cameron Dicker for a game-winning field goal. Texas is better with the longer, methodical drives. They have 2 timeouts and 1 minute, 11 seconds to work with here. The Jayhawks 0-8 all-time in Austin. Ingram, the running back. 4-man rush. Ehlinger with time. Trying to get away from Kamara. Cosme gives him a block. And Johnson on the sideline and will make the grab.
That's all, Sam. That's all, Sam, I am. Let me tell you right now. I mean, he should have been, there's a flag on the backside.
Ineligible player downfield.
Wow.
Offense, number 56. 5-yard penalty. Replay first down.
That's on the senior captain, Zach Shackelford.
I talked about it. Penalties. Penalties. That hurts Texas. You know, you make a play where it should have been negative and you come back, and that appears to be Texas' 9th penalty of the day. They average 7 a game. They're the 9th worst team in the conference. It's amazing to me.
So 1st and 15. Ehlinger for Johnson. Makes the catch to the 35-yard line.
And that was a comfortable and cozy pocket. He was able to throw the football, and when Sam has time, he's proven that he's not a guy that just runs with brute force. This kid can play.
Ehlinger will throw again to Ingram. Ingram falls over, and so that will keep the clock running, but Texas will call a timeout. So now with 42 seconds left, 1 timeout remaining. StubHub upcoming schedule for Texas. After this, it's road trip to TCU, then K-State, Iowa State, Baylor on the road. Both of those teams really hitting their stride, and Texas Tech to wrap it up on November 29th. If Texas wants to have a shot to reach the Big 12 championship game, it's obviously still alive if they lose, but it's no longer in their hands.
You're right, and that's something that as a team you're not expecting to happen. Man, this is a group that in the same stadium last year with it on the line, you're right with Iowa State, they took care of business. It's possible that they overlooked this team tonight. It's possible that they just don't have enough pieces for this man right here, and because of the injury. And they've had injuries.
They moved the football.
Yeah, when your 3rd-team quarterback is your tailback, you've had some injuries. However, Texas fans still expect to win these types of games.
2nd down. Tip pass, and it's going to set up a 3rd and 6. Caleb Sampson getting his hand on it.
That's a big play. I mean, when it's all said and done, the more that you can force them into these 3rd down situations, and they're going to, obviously, Texas has to go for it. So they've got 2 downs. However, the reality of it is that stops some of his Levin's momentum and his juice.
You can feel the anxiety inside this stadium right now. Ellinger will run. Lowers the shoulder. First down, Sam Ellinger.
And that's important right there. That's Sam being Sam. And now the clock stops temporarily. Get on the ball, get your next play call, and move.
They do. Able to execute quickly. Ellinger looking for Johnson. Johnson almost makes a circus catch. Had to turn his back and his face to it. 26 seconds left. Keep in mind, Dicker has connected from 57 yards out. That was a non-pressure kick, though, before the half against Rice.
I'm glad you brought up that point because you're not playing for a touchdown here. Make sure you keep it smart if you're Sam Ellinger because he's obviously throwing the football. Know that you are playing for a field goal and not a touchdown.
Four-man rush. Time. Johnson over the middle of the field. That will put Texas on the cusp for Cameron Dicker.
And I've been on this offensive line and this max protect all night. They're probably going to spike it here, and they haven't played well. That was a comfortable pocket, and it allowed Sam to get through his progression, find Johnson as he broke free later in the latter part of that play en route.
So this would be a 49-yarder for Cameron Dicker. How do you play this now if you're Tom Herman? How much more do you try to get?
Well, you take what the defense is going to give you. And if you're Kansas, and if you're DJ Elliott, their defense coordinator, you don't want to give up the big play, but you can't give up a lot of yardage either. This is a tough spot. In these situations, he likes to protect the post.
Ellinger, is he throwing here? He is. Good decision. Back to Johnson, and hurrying up to the official is Tom Herman, using the last timeout with 8 seconds left. Cameron Dicker. Will there be a wink and the nod like he famously did to Joseph Osai before kicking the game winner against Oklahoma last season in the Red River Showdown?
I'm not sure what's going on here, but this is risky.
If they run an offensive snap here, well, and there is a sack,
it's got to be to the perimeter. You got to do it quick, whatever it is. And I'm not sure.
Or any ball that's short of the first down or not out of bounds, the game's over.
Am I missing something here?
Ellinger. Well, they get more to Duvernay.
Woo. Well, let me tell you something. That's Tom having confidence in 11. That's all you can say there. And he did what he was supposed to do. And Ellinger, yeah, I mean, he's the difference. And though he wasn't able to do it last week, it's great to see the guy be a closer. And I asked him yesterday, I said, what are some of the important parts of being a closer? You got to always believe that's going to happen. And when you got a kicker like Dicker the kicker, you've got a shot.
33 yards out, trying for his second game-winning kick of his young career. Dicker the kicker. Up and good. Texas walks it off the foot of Cameron Dicker. What a game.
Oh my. There's something different about this kid's heart rate. I mean, he just is never rattled. He's not. And you wish every player had his type of confidence and ability to lock in to make key plays. He's going to be one of the best when he leaves here, and will play on Sundays and will play as long as he wants to.